Okay, how's everybody doing here tonight? Hopefully everyone's doing well. Good Sunday night. All right, I do have somebody in chat with me. You can't hear them at the moment, but you will be in 3, 2, 1. Say hello.
Hi, friends. Hi.
This is Keon. I play with him every once in a while on some D&D games. We're in like 3 games together, but that's besides the point. Well, technically they're all Pathfinder games, not D&D games, so...
No accounting for lack of taste.
Yeah. But I want to mainly we play Pathfinder First Edition. And we have heavily tried changing the system up on its head every once in a while.
So much homebrew.
Yeah, we usually play homebrew. We are playing in some non-homebrew settings. Although technically we're playing in one pseudo homebrew and one effectively homebrew.
So we have a homebrew campaign in the canon setting of Pathfinder of Golarion, but it's a homebrew campaign. Mm-hmm. We have an adventure path in Golarion run by another person.
Which is getting semi-homebrewed, but that's just any adventure path.
Yeah. And then we have just a straight-up homebrew game, which is what I'm running.
Yep. And many of those happen quite frequently. Mainly, we have tried... what is it? We've tried just about everything to try to change the system on its head. Like, I don't think we've tried nerfing some specific things, but we have pretty much stretched the system beyond its effective rules as intended. With some very crazy builds. Like, I think one of our players one of our friends had made a character that could go nearly the speed of sound and no homebrew required. And society legal, I believe.
Yeah, that one was Fiora's society legal.
Completely society legal. If you don't know, in Pathfinder, at least for Paizo has a Pathfinder society, and First Edition had a lot of things cut from it to be legal, because First Edition is based off of 3.5, and 3.5 has a lot of broken mechanics, let's just say. Some of them broken in a game-breaking way, and some of them broken in a this just doesn't work kind of way.
Yeah.
Or just make your character completely worthless in the campaign you're playing, but if you have a good GM, they'll at least warn you not to take that feat or go down that path.
I'm not mistaken, doesn't Pathfinder Society work very similar to a Living World campaign where, like, canonically every single player who's ever made a Pathfinder Society character exists in the same setting?
Yes. So everyone in Pathfinder Society exists on world. Every scenario and adventure path is assumed that the heroes have won. Which includes any Pathfinder Society scenario that does come into play. It is assumed that they succeed. Succession is considered correct. There are only a few characters that in the setting that have been defeated but have not been killed. Such as, I think Tar-Baphon is like the only mainline enemy that has not effectively been killed.
Oh no, he has been on a number of occasions.
Well, I meant like he can't officially die unless you go destroy his phylactery. We all understand how liches work. If you don't know how a lich works, they have a phylactery, they come back to life after death. Done.
On top of that, isn't Tar-Baphon considered a demigod?
He is also one of the most powerful necromancers in the setting.
Yeah, like, isn't he one step below true divinity at this point?
In Pathfinder 1e, I think he technically has 10 ranks of Mythic.
Yeah,
which effectively means he is full divine, technically.
He should have clapped the...
Last Wall is no longer a thing. Last Wall is now the Gravelands, if you do not know.
It's not an aspect of a god.
He is literally a god among mortals. He is effectively a god among mortals. I think in First Edition he's classified as a wizard. In Second Edition, they finally made a necromancer class that's actually based around necromancy, but necromancy's also, in Second Edition, undead are no longer inherently evil anymore because they've gotten rid of the alignment system. And you can also play a skeleton in society play. So, yeah.
I mean, I gotta say, that's kind of cool. But...
And I know for a lot of people it's like, well, why are undead evil in Pathfinder First Edition? It's because the lore behind undead in First Edition, where they were so adherent to being to life that they were just inherently evil, even the unintelligent ones. I think in 3.5 they're technically neutral.
Yeah, they were like the antithesis of life itself.
Yeah, unintelligent undead would attack any living creature without abandon. Yeah. Intelligent undead, you could say they have some.
Where's the necromancer frickin'
Yep.
Vermin killer? My brain is fried tonight.
The vermin killer? Like,
they kill bugs and rats and shit.
Oh!
Why is my brain
catcher? Rat catcher? Exterminator?
Oh, thank you. Where's the necromancer exterminator, who his whole strategy is just like, oh, you have bugs in your basement? Cool. Animate dead.
Yeah.
Go deal with it.
Yeah. I mean...
And just let the undead sort the problem out.
Yeah. The thing is that animate dead... If you're unfamiliar, because I have to do some small explaining, animate dead in Pathfinder First Edition does not work like it does in most any other editions. It raises a corpse as a zombie or skeleton under your control. Does not have to be a humanoid corpse in first edition. I think they changed that in second edition, and I know fifth edition changed it too. That was a thing in 3.5. So there's that. Technically, you can actually even raise a vermin. You can actually animate dead on a vermin too, and instead of becoming a skeleton or a zombie, they become a. They get. It's a weird combination. I think instead of you have to resurrect them as a skeleton, and they get the exoskeleton trait. I think. I don't remember. There's a lot of weird rulings in first edition, such as grappling has an entire flowchart that you have to follow, because if not, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And it's
Pathfinder First Edition. Does anyone
well,
know
it's technically 3.0. It's a 3.0 issue, not technically a Pathfinder First Edition issue. It's technically more streamlined in First Edition. It's still just complex. And First Edition, unlike many of the other editions, Pathfinder First Edition has the most options out of anything because it is backwards compatible with 3.5 and 3.0, effectively. It is so backwards compatible that you can literally import any monster from 3.5 into First Edition seamlessly. Semi-seamlessly. You do have to change some things, such as many skills get condensed and all that stuff.
So, one of the things that I actually did, you guys never actually got around to it.
Yeah.
But back in my Demon Wars campaign that I ran way back, I actually took the 3.5 stat block for a Beholder.
And just stuck it in the game?
Slapped the Half-Fiend template on it.
Yeah, and just stuck it in the game.
Renamed it into some kind of demon. I don't even remember what I named it. And then called it a demon.
Yeah. There are ways to do it because you can easily do something like that. And yes, by the way, Mind Flayers, Beholders, and are like D&D property, like they're Wizards of the Coast property.
Yeah.
So
Tiamat, Beholders.
Well, do note
Mind Flayers, and I know there's a few more.
So Tiamat,
you think that weren't free.
The version that's used in Dungeons and Dragons of Tiamat is copyrighted. The goddess Tiamat is not, but a 5-headed dragon goddess called Tiamat is copyrighted.
Yeah,
which
is
trademarked or copyrighted under Wizards of the Coast.
Which is why Paizo used her in name, but you never actually see her.
Yeah.
Because in the Paizo Galarian lore, it was Tiamat and Apsu who were the creators of everything, and they birthed the dragons, and Dahak is actually their firstborn child.
Yes. Tiamat is then murdered at some point in Galarian. Tiamat's dead.
Yeah.
Because Dahak, I think, actually kills Tiamat, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but
I don't know.
But All we know is that Dahak and Apsu are supposed to have a major climactic battle on Galarian at some point, and that's it. Mainly because
there are
Dahak...
so many just god feuds that are scheduled to end on Galarian.
Yeah, including the release of Rovagug at whatever point that happens. Although,
and then you
technically,
Starfinder.
Technically, that can't happen because Starfinder exists. So Rovagug...
That's what I was about to say. Canonically, in Starfinder, it takes place, what, a few hundred years in the future?
No,
it's
like 100,000 years or some shit like that.
Okay.
There is a...
ceases to exist, so
yeah.
Obviously some or all of these things came to pass.
Yeah, so at some point, Galarian disappears. It's in the considered the dark times or the lost history in Starfinder.
Yeah.
Galarian disappears. Absalon Station takes its place. Absalon Station is just a giant floating spaceship, effectively the size of a planet. Think like Death Star size, or like Eldar's Planet Worldcrafts, I think. It's Eldar Worldcrafts, right? From Warhammer 40k. Huge inspiration from 40k, more than likely. Starfinder is a science fantasy setting or system. Technically, Starfinder is the science fantasy and is backwards compatible with Pathfinder 1E and 2E. Both versions are compatible. In order to play Starfinder 2nd Edition, you have to buy Pathfinder 2nd Edition's fucking core rulebooks and the remaster. I looked it up. They make you actually have to buy the Pathfinder 1st Edition, at least the player core rulebook. I don't know about anything else. As well as the Bestiary is not called the Bestiary, it's called Alien Core, or Alien Archives, if you're playing the 1st Edition. I don't even think Archives of Nethys has been updated for Starfinder 2nd Edition yet.
Yeah, well, it just came out.
Yeah, they're still compiling everything, more than likely.
Just launched proper, I should say, not just.
Yeah, Starfinder 2nd Edition has not come out on all the rules have not been published on Archives of Nethys yet. Do note that if you want to look up the rules for Pathfinder 1st Edition, 2nd Edition, Starfinder, and soon to be Starfinder 2nd Edition, Archives of Nethys is the free place to do it. That is just because that is a partner with Paizo. It is not owned by Paizo. Technically owned by somebody else, but they are the best ones. It's the best place to get items that you're trying to find on things like Foundry, because many of them are named their appropriate names in Archives of Nethys, not necessarily their uncopyrighted names, such as Kalian's Cup is called something else completely in like D20 PFSRD. Starfinder just doesn't have a really good really good D20 SRD like Pathfinder does. 1st Edition, even 2nd Edition doesn't really have a good one. But that's just because like Pathfinder 1st Edition has so much third-party content associated with it that it's like, whew. But yeah.
Yeah, and see, that's as much of a sci-fi fan as I am. I love Star Wars. I love Warhammer 40k.
Yeah.
When it comes to tabletop games, I can't get nearly as invested in a sci-fi as I can with a Pathfinder fantasy roleplay.
So it might be because of you're not in the right headspace. Like,
that's very true.
Thinking about fantasy, you can think about the magical wonders and all that other stuff. In sci-fi, we got to kind of change it to where magic is sometimes just technology, which can work. It just doesn't really work, because how does dispel magic work? How does, all these other spells that exist in science and fantasy that in a sci-fi setting just kind of breaks. And it's like, and I've actually watched an entire campaign, 2 entire campaigns made by the same people, that have done science fantasy effectively in Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition. Do note that there requires a lot of homebrew, because it's not like D&D gives, it's not like the Game Master's Guide gives you any details on how to create planets, how to, like, do starship combat and all that stuff. I don't even know. Well, actually, I just looked. You can't actually look at the 2nd edition rules. The issue is that it's not on the Pathfinder 1st edition section. It is, you have to go to 2nd edition, go to the drop-down menu, and then click Starfinder 2nd edition, which is funny. I assume character creation's the same. What is the... I want to look at the... do they have space combat rules in this edition?
I have no... You know, I don't know about that, but that is probably the one thing that I could take from Starfinder and retrofit that shit into Pathfinder.
Yeah, because
and use it for just ship and vessel combat.
You can use it for ships.
At least those rules were good.
Yeah, you can use it for ships. Do note it is kind of clunky when it comes to Starfinder, but you could definitely use it for like battleships if you are on a seafaring campaign.
Yeah,
you can just have everybody ram, and then we have normal combat. You know, like we could.
I know they came out with naval combat rules when they released the Skulls and Shackles, I believe, Adventure Path.
I believe,
I know they
which is one of their
rules for it.
But
they were a lot more
complex,
rudimentary.
Yeah.
When they came out with the Starfinder system, they refined that rule set quite a bit. And I feel like retrofitting the Starfinder ships into Pathfinder sailing vessels or... Okay, I'm gonna attach a cannon to the side of my wagon and up armor the thing. I just built a tank. I need rules.
Vehicle combat came in Ultimate Combat. Official vehicle combat came in Ultimate Combat. Which means you got vehicle basics, full vehicle rules, vehicle statistics, land, water, and air vehicles. Yes, airships are a fantasy thing. They've always been a fantasy thing. Even in the earliest of fantasy games, like Final Fantasy has an airship in it. I don't know why people keep thinking that airships aren't fantasy. They are. How many settings do you know actually have airships that are fantasy? Warcraft has airships. Like
blimps are a very common means of air travel
in fantasy.
And they don't even take magic.
No, they don't.
Let's add the ability for a farm child to spend a week reading a book, and all of a sudden he can generate fire out of the palm of his hand. Let's try and say that they don't figure out how to use it to get aerial? Nah.
Yeah. Do note that technically with magic it doesn't work that way. You can't become a wizard overnight. You can't become a sorcerer overnight. You can become a sorcerer overnight. I know. But usually... And
someone gets slonked over the head hard enough, they discover that they have latent pyrokinetic capabilities, and all of a sudden they're flying.
Or they happen to be a descendant of a dragon, or a fiend, or insert other stressful situation of realizing you have magic powers, and all of a sudden you now are an orphan because you murdered all your parents.
Right.
Orphans and sorcerers go quite hand in hand for some reason. Don't
listen. I'm not saying Xavier's Institute for Unordinary Kids should exist in every fantasy setting. I'm just saying that it would fit.
But on a lot of fantasy settings, having something like that would fit. Yes. But the thing is that I don't know how big the numbers can get in 2nd edition, but in 1st edition, we know how big those numbers can get. And those numbers can get pretty high. Like, I mean, I think at level 1, a rogue, which is the default for, disabling devices, can have a plus, let's see, 5 with a skill, 6 plus 3, 9, 10 automatically, and their disable device check, which is, that's if you also don't take, no, it can be plus 13. You take skill focus as your first level feat. So, like, that's the highest I think you can start off in a stat. Maybe. That is if you hyper maxed it out and you're not going for a different type of build. I think you can technically get Intimidate even higher, maybe. But that requires some very, very min-maxing and hoping and praying your GM's nice and gives you like a 30-point buy.
Listen, if your DM is dumb enough to give you a 30-point buy, having really high stats, really high skill abilities is the least of his worries.
The main thing is that many of the stats are also. If you're just used to 5th edition, which a lot of people are when they say, "Oh, I play D&D," I'm like, "Which edition?" And most of them will probably say 5th edition. It's because the numbers are stacked to 20 only. In a standard game, not including any extra rules, just from the core rulebook, you can get a 36 by level 20 and 1 stat.
Yeah.
And that is without Mythic Adventures. With Mythic Adventures, it goes up to what you get an ability score boost every odd level of Mythic tier.
Every odd Mythic.
So that's 5 more, and it adds +2, so that 46. And then that's not including taking a capstone that increases your stat. Increases 1 stat by 8, so 52.
Does that include the books
or
that can raise every stat to +5 passively?
Yes, that includes the books.
Okay.
The inherent bonus, +5 inherent bonus. 36 is the usual maximum. On a typical game, you will never get higher than a 36. Honestly, you probably won't get higher than a 34 or 33.
I've never actually done that math.
I have. I've done it a lot. I've done it quite regularly. Because I tend to build characters from level 1 to level 20 and seeing how viable they would be from level 1 to level 20.
Would it be possible to have multiple stats that high, or is that just like...
No, that's one stat. That's everything into one stat.
That makes sense.
That's starting at 18, having a +2 bonus because of a racial. 5 bonuses from 1 to 20, because you get 1 every 4 levels and you get up to 5. Yep. 5 inherent, and then the +6 from a headband or belt.
Gotcha.
And then not including Mythic, which Mythic adds 10, and then if you take perfect body and Flawless Mind, you can get 8 more stat points. So it can go up to fucking 52, 54, I think. That's and do note that only 6 of those gets removed because of anti-magic field. Everything else is permanent.
Remember that character build that I told you about that added Dex, Wisdom, Intelligence, and Charisma all to their AC?
Yeah. You only need to do it for one stat.
I can't wait for the day that we play a high enough point buy campaign where I can break that son of a bitch out and he's not a game breaker.
So technically, and it's the issue with characters that don't wear armor. This is mainly an issue in Pathfinder 1st edition /3.5 more than 5th edition, because 5th edition actually gives you a reason, doesn't require you to put points into strength, because, finesse weapons add dex to strength, except for a few, or add dex to damage instead. And that is mainly so for a monk, specifically a monk, to have an equivalent AC to a fighter. Not a fighter. Let's not say a fighter. Let's say a paladin, because paladin would be a little bit easier to justify. Fighter gets in a weird territory in Pathfinder 1st edition. We're going to go with paladin. A paladin wearing full plate, it's a 9 + 1 for dex, so 10. Right? If I remember. Yeah, 10. You need to get, which is 20, so that's a start. Technically, it's 25. Which, if you think about it, really isn't a lot of AC. you think about it.
Yeah.
But you need to get to technically you just need to have an armor bonus of equivalent to 10 from your wisdom, the AC bonus, and get the dex to be equivalent to that, because.
So here's one of the things that I have always kind of argued in on my behalf for this particular build. With it, if you're adding, let's say you're just a monk, you have nothing else, you are just monk. You aren't. So in this particular case, you have either charisma or wisdom based on your archetype.
Yep.
Usually, we're gonna
assume wisdom. We're gonna assume wisdom.
So you have your dex, your
wisdom,
your flat 10, and your wisdom. Now, let's be generous here. Let's say you have an 18 in each of those.
Let's go with the difference. Let's go with the different score. Let's assume we have 16 in dex and a 16? 14 in wisdom. That's about average.
So that's a +5 from just those two.
Yes.
Okay? Just those two stats, without any magic items, you're already sitting at the 15.
15. Which is about average for a level 1 character, by the way. That's average for a level 1 character.
That's decent. You're already up there with the front lines
you're
wearing the full armor, and you're not slowed down.
You're equivalent to a fighter wearing. You're one less than a fighter wearing scale mail. Any character wearing scale mail, you are one less than them.
Now,
not assuming that the rogue also has padded leather and a +5 in their dex.
When the fighter, or in this case, we're using a paladin for our example.
The reason why paladin is because they don't get any bonuses.
So while
we're also assuming they're not taking any feats that increases their AC.
Well, the paladin is constrained by, all right, cool, I now have my badass full plate armor that gives me +10 to AC.
Yep. You
can only have +1 or +2 to dexterity based on outside stats.
It's +1 or +3 based off of armor. Okay. We're going to assume, assuming we are playing with a normal full plate paladin. No special materials required.
Let's do the absolute best case scenario. Full plate armor on a paladin with a heavy steel shield. This guy's walking around with +12 to his AC. Let's even give him the dex. Let's call it a +13 to AC from his armor, his shield, his dexterity.
Yeah, this is not including any enhancement bonuses.
Without including the big 6. He's walking around with a
22. A 22. So at level, let's do like an average build for a level 1 character. A level 1 character that takes scale mail and a heavy shield. Either have the heavy shields work for this. Because if we take the fighter, we're going to take the tower shield. And the tower shield gives +4.
Yeah.
Not appropriate to be checking. Scale mail generally, if I remember correctly, gives a +5 or +6. It's either +5 or +6. So you're probably rocking with a 12 dex or 13 dex as a paladin. Probably 12. Well, you might get 13 because you might take a feat that requires many of the feat requirements require an odd stat number. Don't ask me why. A lot of them require an odd stat number. None of them are even. I've been tempted to change it to where they're all even based just because, but then we run into problems. Probably. I may not even change them. Okay. We assume that we have a +1 to dex, so we get 16 AC. 18 AC with the heavy shield. That's at level 1. Do note that's level 1. Yeah. That's also assuming you didn't take a fighter who took a tower shield who then would have a 22 AC or 20 AC. 20 AC. Do note there is also other things. AC is not the only version of armor class in the game. There is touch AC, which just reduces a lot of the bonuses, and it just effectively applies your dex, which for a fighter sucks. Let me rephrase that. For a paladin, it sucks because your AC effectively turns into 11. The monk, on the other hand, its wisdom applies. So monks generally have a better touch AC on average than most classes. Do note this is assuming Pathfinder 1st edition. If you're playing 5th edition, this doesn't count because the monk gets like 17 AC at fucking 1st level because they're stupid. Because that's how monks work in fucking 5th edition. They'll apply their dex and wisdom, and the AC bonus only goes up to like 25 in 5th edition because the numbers are lower. Or 26, something like that.
In this situation, you're sitting at level 1, probably somewhere around
15, 16 AC.
15, 16 AC. Now, that's just 2 stats. This isn't my min-max build, this is just 2 stats.
Yeah. Assuming we have some plus 1s and other stat in all of our mental stats, because...
Now, when you add magic items to this, what all magic items add to the Paladin's AC? You have the
Amulet of Natural Armor, the Ring of Protection.
Magic. Yeah, Ring of
So
Protection.
Effectively, you can add 20 AC to a Paladin. Okay. Do note, technically, it's plus 20 AC. Do note that is all to AC, with 5 of it also going to touch AC, because it's a deflection bonus.
We're basing this critique on AC for right now.
AC. Okay. So that's plus 20.
So that's plus 20 for magic items.
Yes.
For my theoretical monk over here, we have bracers of natural armor. That's plus 8.
Bracers of armor, not.
Yes, bracers.
Do not bracers of natural armor do not exist. They are bracers of armor.
That's plus 8. We have your Amulet of Natural Armor, so that's plus 5. You have your Ring of Protection, so that's plus 5.
Plus 5.
This is assuming the highest iterations of these items.
Yes.
So that's
by level 20. By level 20.
Yeah, by level 20.
So 18.
Then you add your Belt of Dexterity, that's plus 3.
Yes.
And your Headband of Wisdom, that's plus 3. So right now you're sitting at a magic item AC bonus of 24.
Yes.
Now the question is that 4 points of bonus, magic item bonus above that of the Paladin worth the trade-off of what alternate defenses does the monk have that the Paladin doesn't, such as movement speed, such as saving throws, such as touch AC or flat-footed AC.
The thing is that default monks tend to have good fortitude saves, good reflex saves, and effectively have good wisdom saves. Or will saves. Because they're practically wisdom based. Now here's the thing. Paladin, due to their 2nd level ability,
have charisma to everything.
Had charisma to all of their saves. They will probably still have a worse reflex save, but they have a good fort and a good will save. They might have a better will save. And they will have a better fortitude save, because we're going to assume that the monk has 14 and we're going to assume if you're frontline you have a 14 in your constitution, okay? We're just going to flat out state that.
Yeah.
We're going to make some assumptions here, because builds are different wildly. Now, this is also assuming that the Paladin has a 14 in Charisma, a 14 in Constitution, and a 16 in Strength, so their hits are effectively the same.
Yeah. Whereas my monk build, my theoretical monk, they are a finesse fighter. They are pure dex.
Yeah. So, and this is also not including any +5 bonuses, any books, or anything like that. It's also assuming the Paladin didn't get access to Mithril Full Plate, or one of the other Mithril armors that gives them a +4 instead of the usual +1 to their AC. So we're just making some assumptions here. We're not looking at but the AC disparity is not that high between monk and paladin. Now, when we get the fighter, on the other hand, we find out that the fighter still blows them all out of the water just because of how many feats they fucking get, but that's besides the point. Because a fighter will still out AC a monk, even a highly specialized monk that has at least a 4 in all of their stats. Their AC may still be higher, but the fighter is still running in that full plate armor as if he's sprinting in just a t-shirt and pants. So that's the fair do note, a fighter in Pathfinder First Edition is terrifying after 7th level. This guy is in full plate armor sprinting at you as if he is wearing nothing. Probably still not as fast as the monk, but still.
I don't know if this is just me. This very well might be just me.
Mm-hmm.
But in a world where every 3rd guy is throwing fireballs, every 4th guy is throwing a dagger from a half-mile away and bullseyeing your friend between the eyes.
Yeah.
And the one dude who you forgot was even there has already stolen all of your money and you didn't even realize he was there.
Yeah.
The big freaking hulking son of a bitch charging me clad in more armor than God with a big freaking sword.
Yeah.
If
Terrifying.
he is able to stand up to all of this arcane and divine bullshit going on, I don't know what it's like. The one white dude in the group of in the freaking black friend group. I don't know what he did to gain their respect. But I am terrified of him.
Now imagine this: you see the guy charging you in armor who's casting spells. Now you see the guy who's butt-ass naked, sprinting even faster than him, and gonna fist you, and has fisticuffs coming up, and is gonna punch you in the face.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Imagine that.
You see that coming at you, it's just like I'd like to surrender.
And you can't run away from the guy who's running faster than a speeding bullet because he's got a 70. He's got a 70 movement speed now.
Yeah, it's just like, oh.
You're not running away from the monk. The fighter you may be able to outrun if you happen to be faster than him, but he happens to be just as fast as you, so it doesn't matter.
You turn to run away, and the monk is just running right next to you, just keeping pace. Like, hi, how you doing?
But
for a jog?
Yeah, but it's the thing of, like, a lot of people will say this in Pathfinder and in D&D, AC tends to not be the thing you got to worry about in later levels. It's saving throws. Mainly because, in my honest opinion, this is what 2nd edition and some of 5th edition did get right. It's the saving throws are nowhere near as deadly as they are in Pathfinder 1st edition. I mean, there's just spells out there that just outright kill you if you're at 100 or less hit points. Power word kill. Say bye-bye to your character. No save. Oh, you do get spell resistance, though, so hope and pray you got... Oh, you don't have spell resistance? Well, you're just dead.
Have spell resistance, it's barely even worth bringing up.
Yeah, mainly because the spell resistance is usually so low that it doesn't really happen. Unless you're playing a drow noble, but we won't go there. There's a reason why that character... There's a reason that character is generally banned in any form of game. At least, and do note that character no longer... And that character no longer... I mean, some people do, and it's called they want to win the game, and it's why I never allow any character that has over a 20 point in the game, because it's not fun to play.
Yeah.
Mainly because then I gotta do more work.
in my setting, the race Trox from Pathfinder First Edition.
Yeah.
It exists.
Yeah.
It's not playable.
It's not playable for players. And there are a lot of races that aren't playable for players, but the thing is that I don't like large characters being playable. And I really don't like tiny or small, like larger races being playable, or tiny or small, like anything smaller than small being playable, just because it's not fun to play those characters, and also small is probably as far as you should go, unless you're playing a caster, and then being tiny really does benefit you. But going any smaller, if you're playing a melee character that's tiny, you're screwed. You just are. Because you got to be in the square in order to actually hit somebody. Do note, size in Pathfinder 1st Edition has a reason. You get bonuses to your AC, penalties to your attack, increase to your attack, or penalties to your AC, and your reach increases or decreases. So, it's not like 5th Edition where your size just changes how many damage dice you roll.
Now, also, that said, I did see a build online a while back of a guy who built like a pixie rogue.
So
that would like use reduced person or something. I don't think it was reduced person because they weren't humanoid, but they had a reduced spell that made them diminutive. So what they would do is fly inside of someone's ear canal and start sneak attacking them.
I mean, you could technically do that. I mean, that's like not. And
it was just like that.
And
that's out of the box thinking.
Yeah, and that's also allowing the player to actually do that. Allowing enlarged person or reduced person to actually work on a Fey-like creature, which I guess you could just homebrew a version of enlarged person to be enlarged Fey or reduced Fey. Probably would need to be a second level spell instead of a first level spell. I don't know. There are many things that are... There's a reason why some spells are more powerful than others, such as the reason why animal growth is more powerful than enlarged person is because animal growth technically increases the animal size category by 2 instead of just 1. It's also, I think, a 5th level spell instead of a 1st level spell. If I remember correctly. Not 100% certain. But animals generally start either at small or medium size. So. In Pathfinder.
Yeah.
And also, animal companions are not, like, inherently broken or inherently, by broken I mean not playable, in Pathfinder 1st Edition. I mean, we have seen a build that works really well in one of our games that has an animal companion. That's just because the animal companion also does a shit ton of damage. But animal companions do a shit ton of damage. That's like kind of their thing. Like they're kind of meant to do a shit ton of damage.
And if you build them right, animal companions can be by far tankier than the rest of the party.
Yeah, and that's
like one of my characters, I just got heavy armor proficiency on my animal companion, and the DM foolishly dropped some quadrupedal full plate.
Yeah, which is...
So now I have an animal companion with almost 30 AC, and the next closest AC in the party is like 22,
26.
24, something like that.
Something like that, yeah. But do know this is also assuming that, like, this is also the thing of, like, in my honest opinion, campaigns should not be built around... You should not build a character hoping you get magic items. You should really build a character around the campaign you're playing. Because, yes, you should have a build in mind, but you should also realize the campaign is not necessarily gonna be viable all the time.
Yeah.
Because some campaigns, magic item creation's kind of required because you don't get a lot of money.
Yeah.
Some campaigns you won't get a lot of money.
When I'm coming into a new campaign, I always use my rule of 3.
Yeah.
The first character that I build for any new campaign is going to be tailor-made. I'm going to use whatever information the DM is willing to give me, and I am going to build my character for the exact campaign and story that the DM is trying to tell.
Yeah.
Mechanics be damned, I am going to build a character.
Yeah, it is very easy to accidentally get into, oh, I want to play a character that uses a big sword, and you're playing in a campaign where metal is literally not easy to come by. Metal weapons do not exist. Like, they are not easy to come by. Big sword kind of needs to be thrown out the window, and you're going to have to just play with the long sword or play with a fucking club. Play with a great club. Just grab the big stick off the wall.
The second character that I bring in, if my story-based character dies, the second character I bring in, I'm going to come up with some I'm going to go, all right, cool. Based on what I've previously experienced in this campaign, I'm going to build a character who is fair and able to survive without... I don't try to break anything. Yeah. But I'm going to try and survive.
And then the third character comes in, and you're like, story be damned, we're going to make this character overpowered.
This
character is going to do one thing really well, but it will have a weakness, and it's called an anti-magic field, because everything's weak to an anti-magic field. I don't give a shit. Unless you're the fighter, but you're still a fucking fighter. Or a monk. Or a paladin, or a barbarian, or insert any other martial class that does still well in an anti-magic field.
Yep. First character is fuck around. The last character, the third character I bring in is find out.
Yeah. And that's just the main thing of, like, many people build character. Like, I build characters in a vacuum, and I'm like, I don't know how well this character's going to work. I don't have a campaign for it. I don't know how well it will work because I don't know how it's going to function from level 1 to level 20. Because from level 1 to level 20, something drastically could change in the campaign where this build no longer works. Well, such as you're playing a character that's full natural attack bonuses, and the GM doesn't have any amulets of natural mighty fists in the campaign. I don't know why.
Well, that's one of the other builds that I have that I've told you about, but I'll explain again.
I mean,
I have a build where...
Do note, all these builds are in Pathfinder First Edition.
Yeah, this is all Pathfinder First Edition. This one actually had some third-party content to it, but it was minimal.
Yeah.
Regardless, I had a build, and the math... Now, I built this a couple of years back, so... Yeah,
the math might be different.
It might be different now.
And not right.
In Pathfinder First Edition, typically how it works is when you come to an item crafting situation, you can make 1,000 gold worth of progress towards crafting a magic item in each individual day. So, for what I use as an example for this character, because they are a golem crafter, that is what they do. They craft constructs, golems. An iron golem typically costs 80,000 gold to craft. So, by raw, it should take 80 days to craft it.
Do note, I think you use the base price of the item, not the... I'll have to look up the crafting rules again.
No.
Is it the crafting? It's the crafting price. It's not the...
The base price to purchase one is 160,000 gold.
I can't remember if it was the magic item. It's been forever since I've looked at those rules because I don't play characters that do that anymore. Because every single time I play a campaign with those rules, it just takes forever.
Between being a dwarven wizard who can make additional progress each day, a number of feats and rules that allow me to either cut the crafting cost of items or increase the rate of progression, including one that's like, because I have a familiar helping me, I can multiply my progress by 4. I don't remember the exact details. I'd have to look it up. I have it in a file.
You can double. You can also double the crafting progress with a +5 DC. Like, there's a bunch of other stuff.
I got it to the point where I could craft an iron golem. Again, usually takes 80 days in 27 minutes.
Yeah, in less than an hour.
In less than an hour, I could craft a CR 14, I think they are. I think the default Iron Golem is CR 14.
I think it's a CR 14 creature, which is very, it's a strong creature because Golems also in Pathfinder First Edition and in 3.5 had the immunity to magic feature, which is any magic, any spell that has access to spell resistance is automatically negated.
On top of this, I am able to do ridiculous stuff. I found out, now typically, a construct does not have an intelligence score.
Nope.
And therefore, you cannot give it feats. Sad, but it makes sense.
Yeah. Any unintelligent...
There's an exception to that rule.
There's always
the homunculus.
Yep, they're one of the few constructs. An
intelligence score, which means I could craft a homunculus, increase its hit dice, post crafting it because they have modification rules for that, and start giving it feats.
Yep.
So I could slap Master Craftsman, which allows you to craft magic items without needing to be able to spellcraft.
Yep.
And craft construct onto a homunculus. Put 2 of those. And then automate a factory.
Yep.
And I now have crafting war machines.
Yeah. So, I just double-check the crafting rules, because I do this every once in a while if the rule doesn't... Particularly if I'm like, I don't remember this rule. By default, do note this changes with some specific things. Creating an item requires 8 hours of work per 1,000 gold pieces, and the item's base price with a minimum of at least 8 hours. Exception to this is if the base price item is 250 gold pieces or less, it's 2 hours instead. So it's technically the item's base price. So technically an Iron Golem takes 160 days, 8-hour days, 160 8-hour days to craft.
Oh, yeah, that is. Then why do they list the crafting cost? Every magic item, they have a cost under crafting.
So the crafting cost is usually half of the base value because that's how much raw materials in gold you need to craft that item. Meaning crafting items is cheaper but takes longer than, and so instead of giving it automatically, instead of just paying, you can pay half the time, but it's going to take you.
But it takes twice as long. Do note that there are classes and archetypes or class abilities that can change that time, such as a dwarf cleric, a Forge Master dwarf cleric can craft magic arms and armor, metal arms and armor at twice the normal pace, which means they effectively use the base the crafting cost before applying the extra 5 to DC, so they can make it in a fourth of the time if they have a high enough spellcraft check. Yeah, and like for a dwarf wizard, their favorite class bonus, which is essentially when you take a level in your favorite class, but you choose the first level.
Mm-hmm. Usually it's the level. It's usually the class you take the first level in.
You have three options. You have your you have an extra hit point, an extra skill point, or you can choose an alternate favorite class bonus dependent on your race and the class that you're choosing. Do note this is an advanced feature, and not all campaigns may take it because this is from the Advanced Player's Guide. If you're just using the core rulebook, you're SOL. Yeah, this isn't in the core. But for dwarfs specifically, they have select one item creation feat known by the wizard. In my case, I use Craft Construct. Whenever crafting an item using that feat, the amount of progress made in an 8-hour period increases by 200 gold pieces, 50 if crafting while adventuring. This does not reduce the cost of the item, it just increases the rate at which the item is crafted. So, but over the period of a 20th level druid, or 20th level dwarven wizard, you're now producing 3,000 gold per 8-hour period. So you're tripling the time that you normally just on would. That. Yeah, you would triple the time. Nothing else. That's not including like cooperative crafting. That's not including feats that reduce time, or you happen to be playing a class that already halves the time by default anyway. Effectively, a wizard, usually a wizard, can effectively a level 20 dwarf wizard can create magic items at 6 times the normal speed. Because you can just increase the DC by 5 to create it at half time. Kind of funny to me, because wizard is not a stereotypically dwarven class. No, it's not. But dwarven wizards are just so freaking good at making stuff, dude. It falls into that archetype of dwarves being very good at crafting. Yeah. In general, because like a lot of stereotypes in Pathfinder, which carries over from Tolkien's, like Tolkien is like the granddaddy of fantasy, modern fantasy. Let me rephrase that: modern fantasy, because there was fantasy before Tolkien. Tolkien just kind of brought it into mainstream. Yeah. Yeah. But like he described dwarves as being crafters, like they were crafters, and that reflects in a lot of people's depictions of dwarves. Now, the whole, like, Warhammer, using battle axes, Warhammers, that's still, I think, the battle axes kind of comes from Tolkien, while Warhammers kind of comes from World of Warcraft, Warcraft specifically. But, yes, because that's the first iteration I saw it, and it might go back further. But that's the first iteration I saw it. Much so I also true bearded dwarven fanboy as I am, I have never actually even considered playing a dwarf in Warhammer 40 or World of Warcraft. Well, it's probably because in World of Warcraft, it's why I have this association with firearms being a dwarven creation,
more than a human or gnome or elf or, you know, any of the other races that are like tinkerers, is because World of Warcraft has heavy influence over me, because the first effective rifleman was a dwarf, a rifle dwarf. It wasn't a rifleman, it was a rifle dwarf.
All right, so going back to Galarian lore. So in Galarian, if you don't know, the firearms exist, but they are primarily found in a location known as the
Mana Wastes.
Mana Waste? Yeah, Mana Waste.
Mana
Thank
Waste.
you. Which is basically an area where two competing incredibly powerful wizards had a wizard duel that blew up Magic itself.
It's also, technically, there were nation leaders, and one of them is undead, and the other one is not.
Yeah. Well, so anyway,
well, one of them is undead now. I think he did it when he was alive.
There's this wide spread of area where magic just doesn't work right.
It doesn't work the same way.
So people figured out how to use alchemy to create ranged weapons, essentially. And that's kind of the lore behind how firearms came to be.
Yeah.
But here's something that a lot of people don't actually know. There are, if I'm remembering my dwarf lore...
Pause real quick. Pause real quick. An ad break is about to happen. Hold that thought. I'm going to go pause the stream real quick, and we will be right back. You may still talk, but I'm just going to let you know that we're on.
Yeah, let me look that up real quick to make sure I'm giving correct information
I'll be back.
here.
Break is going through. YouTube can still hear us, but Twitch cannot.
It's all good. I am
looking
it up right now. It's not dung in the hole. Is it?
I know it's one of the Sky Sentinels did it. I don't remember which one.
Yeah, I think it's Cloudspire, but I'm looking at an active map, and I think I might be wrong.
And there may also not be a Cloud Citadel.
Pyrospiro.
Oh, there it is.
Pyrospiro. That is way farther north of the Mana Waste than I thought it was.
Do note that dwarves do sometimes travel pretty far from their mountain home.
Valid. I think the Gunworks is dwarven.
I don't actually think that dwarves were the ones that created firearms.
They weren't, but once the ad break is over.
You know, when I transition scenes back.
You're...
But no, I like having these discussions every once in a while because it provokes thoughts. And maybe some people will just pop in and being like, what are they talking about? Usually Pathfinder First Edition. That's just the system we're familiar with. It's a system we're inherently familiar with. Okay, that break's done.
Okay.
We're back.
So, with on Galarian, with the excuse me. In the Mana Waste, there is a city known as Alkenstar. Now, Alkenstar is basically the basis of civilization within the Mana Waste. It's actually still a very populous city. But this is where firearm technology, if it didn't originate here, this is where they perfected it.
Yeah, I believe it also has no active ruler at the ruler in quotes at the moment.
It does.
No active government.
It does. It's considered a Grand Duchy.
I don't remember if it did or didn't, because for some reason it like disappeared and then it came back at some point on the wiki, so I don't know what happened.
Yeah, they have their own government. They are a constitutional monarchy. Alkenstar is. But what a lot of people don't know is there is actually a Dwarven Sky Citadel. Now, for those of you who don't know much about the lore of the dwarves, essentially dwarves used to be a subterranean species, and then during the events of the Fall of Starstone, which was the big event of the setting, they forged their way to the surface.
Which affects
where they surfaced on Galarian, they built massive citadels that they then called Sky Citadels, because that was where the dwarves experienced sky for the first time. These are the centers of dwarven society on Galarian. You can find dwarves fucking everywhere, but if you want to find dwarves, you go to a Sky Citadel.
Yeah, and it's also the thing of, technically, and I'll state this, the core rulebook dwarf is not the Sky Citadel dwarf. They're not.
Yes.
They are technically hill dwarves. They are dwarves that have been away from the Sky Citadel for years. Generations of dwarves, which is like 250 plus years per generation, so.
Right. Now, one of the things that a lot of people don't really know, because it's not something that people in the setting are familiar with, because dwarves in this area very much keep to themselves. But there is a Dwarven Sky Citadel very, very close to the Mana Wastes. And the dwarves who live in this particular Sky Citadel are like considered some of the most primo, if not the best black powder weaponry masters.
It's where many of
the setting of Galarian.
It's where many of the black powder siege engines come from.
Yeah, a lot of the magic firearms come from this Sky Citadel. Mm-hmm. A lot of the, as he said, black powder siege weapons come from here. Yeah. A lot of the advancements in technology, in ballistics technology, they come from one of two places. Alkenstar, which is the capital of the Mana Wastes, or this Sky Citadel. Mm-hmm. That's basically all they come from. Now, that being said, they aren't very widespread in the setting of Galarian yet.
That's just due to...
Here, I cannot wait for the day that Paizo grows a set of nuts and has an adventure path where all of the Sky Citadels come together and go, all right, cool, what can we add to the campaign? Yeah. And these guys roll up with bombards and muskets and blunderbuss and go, all right, we're going to go freaking genocide the orcs and take back our homeland.
Yeah, and do note, that's probably never going to happen due to...
but I would love it.
There's a location on Galarian known as the Hold of Belkin. The Hold of Belkin is a former, right now, it is a former Dwarven Citadel. It is considered like the origin point of dwarves, if I remember correctly, by many of them.
So, well, okay, so it's not necessarily the origin, but the Sky Citadel, currently known as Koldakar, or I'm sorry, currently known as Urgir, formerly known when it was under the control of the dwarves as Koldakar, was the first Sky Citadel. The first place dwarves ever reached the surface was in what is now the Hold of Books.
But do note, the reason why they don't do that is because that's where all of your orcs come from.
Yeah,
on Galarian.
I know.
That's the problem.
Then we would, especially in today's climate, that would be a massive racial issue.
We would fall into the problem of orcs would have to then become this nomadic race, which is what they did in 5th edition. The remaster, they made orcs this nomadic race.
I don't think they do. I really don't think they would have to do that. Here would be my take. Okay,
I could see orcs and dwarves putting it beside their differences at some point.
No, hell no.
Well, here's the thing: I could see it happening because how Paizo will like to write it. Do note: remember, writers make the story. They don't care about lore sometimes.
That's so.
They don't care that a lot of dwarves hate orcs and goblins, but
that's so painfully true. But okay, so here's my take. Okay, and this is probably a hot take, but here's my take.
Mm-hmm.
So originally, there are what is Galarian called the Underdark? Do you remember?
Darklands. The Darklands.
Darklands. Okay. So for this example, I'm going to say there's 3 different layers of the Darklands. Okay. Mm-hmm. At the bottommost layer, that's where formerly they were called Drow, but due to
have been retconned to
they changed.
No, after 2024, they have been retconned to being non-existent. They do not exist on Galarian anymore. They just don't.
Anyway, the elves that used to formerly live underground,
or 2022, whenever the core rulebook,
basically at the very bedrock bottom of what could be considered the material plane.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a good 150 miles above them before they would hit surface. The dwarves existed and lived and had flourishing societies and civilizations higher up in that layer, in the crust layer, than the former elves did.
Do also note, a lot of this lore is also speculation, in quotes. I'm just stating, because the obvious thing is that do note, it might all be true, and it all may not be true. It would require somebody in Paizo to verify.
Valid. This is actually how we now have the Duragar. These are the dwarves who stayed in the Darklands, who decided not to venture forth on the quest for Sky. Well, when the dwarves were... So basically, the dwarves had a prophecy that when the roots of the earth shook, that was their sign to journey upwards to the surface of the world in the quest for Sky.
Starstone happened.
Yeah, this was the falling of the Starstone. What happened was the orcs were also subterranean. This is why, even in the modern era of the Galarian setting, dwarves have dark vision, because they used to be a subterranean species.
It's also why orcs have. It's why orcs are still considered a race that has light sensitivity, at least in 3.5.
Yeah. So
not light blindness like the drow did. Light sensitivity.
The dwarves, in their effort to push towards the surface, drove the orcs before them in a rolling war to fight their way to the surface. Now, it took
where the ancestral hatreds come from, too.
Many, many, many years to do this, to actually reach the surface. But before they had reached the surface, they had driven the orcs out, and the orcs had already laid waste to the surface world. Because the dwarves forced them out of the Darklands, and during the quest, during the fall of the Starstone, the sun was blotted out by ash and dust and other
over the entire world, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Which means
the entire world was cloaked.
And in this time, the humans that are on Galarian now are not called humans. They are technically considered as Lanti, which are like superior humans. Yes, we have a superior human variation. We still don't know how humans...
Not anymore.
some of them still, one of them still exists in canon at the moment.
Ooh.
The Lust one.
Eridan?
The Rune Lord of Lust.
No, she's not Aslanti.
She's
not?
Thessalonian.
She's Thessalonian.
I thought she was Aslanti.
So, okay.
I'm going to check her stat block real quick. We'll come back to that. I'll check her stat block.
I'll come back to that.
Continue.
That's a sticking point. Okay,
yeah.
So anyway, the dwarves forced their way to the surface, driving the orcs in front of them. Now, once the orcs finally reached the surface, they absolutely the orcs again. They had been doing it for hundreds of years. They just kept screwing the orcs up more and more and more. It wasn't until a orcish warlord named Belkson managed to gather all of the orcish tribes to his banner that they were able to fight back and take one singular sky citadel. The dwarves had like 12 of these. It took every single orc alive to take one. Anyway, so the orcs got banded together and took this over, and now they have the Hold of Belkson, which is the orcish realm. Now, myself, personally, being a massive dwarvish fanboy, because I just like the dwarven aesthetic of heavy armor and tower shield, and I am an impenetrable walking slab of steel.
Mm-hmm. As all dwarves must be.
Exactly, yes. Thank you for the recognition. Dwarf supremacy. Anyway, I am waiting for the glorious day that I have the opportunity to play in a campaign where it is the dwarves purging the Hold of Belkson and reclaiming Koldakar. Now, here's how I think it could work. If the dwarves were to reclaim the Hold of Belkson, and specifically Koldakar, that would leave a number of mountain ranges in the general vicinity, specifically two very, very important mountain ranges to the setting in general. Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. My apologies. Why is the mountain range not named? Everything else is named, not the mountain range. Oh, let's not give them the information they need. Anyway, the Hold of Belkson is basically a massive ravine in between two major mountain ranges, essentially.
I don't think there's been a campaign setting in Belkson yet, that's why.
I don't think there has, actually. There's been many... Koldakar Mountains. Sandpoint. That's one of them. Mm. One of them is the Koldakar Mountains, which is like... There are multiple adventure paths that take place in the Koldakar Mountains.
Yeah.
But so what I think could happen, the dwarves are able to purge it, they retake the Sky Citadel, but the orcs still remain within the remainder of the Hold of Belkson. Yes, the dwarves retake the capital, but they probably don't have the manpower to take and hold all of the territory.
Mm-hmm.
As well, it'd be kind
of like a West Germany situation. A West Berlin situation.
West Berlin, yeah. And then they also have the orcs were, and in some cases still are, a primarily subterranean race.
Mm-hmm.
They can just go back underground and pop up wherever the story needs them to.
Yep.
What's to say that one of the Belkson orc tribes doesn't say, you know what, the dwarves just screwed us up heavily. Screw this, I'm going to take my tribe, I'm going to go back into the Darklands.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to forge a new orcish empire in the Darklands.
Yeah. I mean, that probably
can happen. They can't go and, alright, cool, I'm going to travel through the Darklands over here to, let's say, the River Kingdoms, because those tend to be less than the most fortified locations on the planet.
Yeah.
And I'm going to freaking conquer one of the River Kingdoms and start over.
Yeah. So,
like, I could see how the orcs could still be a mainstay in Galarian, while still giving me the beauty of I want to conquer my home.
The only issue is that orcs are now a core race. They're no longer a afterthought race in 2nd edition. They're in the player core remaster, so that's probably why it's never going to happen. But going back to the
happen,
but real quick,
can dream, all right?
Yeah, going back to the Aslanti thing, I just looked it up. Sorshan, the Rune Lord of Lust, ancestry human, species Aslanti. She is an Aslanti, and she's still alive in canon at the moment.
Then Eridan is a false god. His claim to power was he was the last Aslanti.
Correct.
Do note, Aslanti.
Do note, when he came out, he was the last Aslanti. Until the Rune Lord of Greed came out. And then he was killed.
Aren't there 2 currently active?
The other one's dead, I think.
Yeah, because she tried to go after the Iron Band.
No, the Rune Lord of Envy is still alive.
Yeah, because I thought there were 2 of them.
She is right now in New Thassalon trying to take over, like...
The Iron Band Islands or something
like that. She and Sorshan are in very heated debate of who owns New Thassalon, who doesn't.
Yeah.
But the Rune Lord of Greed, Sloth, Pride, Wrath, and Gluttony are all dead. Sloth got killed by a whole bunch of Pathfinder Society members. He was so slothful that he got killed by random no-name adventurers.
Sloth got done so dirty.
Yeah.
Like, Sloth is... Okay, so the Rune Lords of Galarian are ancient, hyper-powerful wizards who survived the Earthfall by essentially putting themselves into magical stasis until after the events transpired.
They were born way before the current calendar. Let's just state that. The current calendar is in the 4000s. They were all born at like -6000 or something like that.
Yeah,
like they have been gone for over 10,000 years on Galarian.
They have access to magic and powers that we cannot even comprehend at this point.
And they cannot recreate because that.
And yet, the Rune Lord of Sloth, master of the School of Conjuration, probably one of, if not the foremost masters of conjuration who have ever existed.
And one of the most powerful schools of magic.
Right. Got his caved in by some Pathfinder Society members.
Do note, he technically is classified as a level 17 conjurer. He probably got beat up by a bunch of level 14 Society members. So note, it was a fair fight.
Still, regardless, let's roll this back to our previous comments on the Pathfinder Society gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much stuff you can't do in Society play, and yet, canonically, a group of 4 GIMP Society
4 to 6 members. 4 to 6 members.
4 to 6? Okay. Beat the brakes off this dude. He got done so dirty, dude.
Yeah. He got killed in 47... He revived in 4713 and was probably killed long enough for Pathfinder Society agents to say no and went and stabbed him.
Right. Like, he didn't even have a chance to stretch his legs before he got clapped.
He got murked. But I think that adventure, that scenario is meant for level 15 or 16 level characters. So they had access to 8th level magic. At minimum.
Still.
I mean, technically, this Aslanti has access to Wish because he's a 17th level wizard. But the issue is that he's a Thessalonian wizard, and I think Conjurer automatically makes you. Well, no, Wish is universal, so it didn't matter.
Now,
but I think he officially gets killed by Ezrin. Usually it's Ezrin, Valeros, Kellen, and the elf. I don't remember the elf's name.
Yeah, that's one of the other things that, like.
And what's funny is that these characters' levels go from level 1 to level 20, and they bounce back and forth. I don't know how. It just, weird timey-wimey shit. Maybe there's a whole bunch of characters that look exactly the same that happen to just be these characters. We don't know.
Well, that's why I have the same problem with the lore of Galarian as I do with World of Warcraft and its lore. Because you might be a Pathfinder Society member. You might be playing through all the Society adventures.
But you're not the person
you're
that you
not
technically
the
get
one
rid
who canonically did it.
Yeah.
The credit gets given to one of the iconics.
Do note,
and it's just
recently in World of Warcraft, they changed that, starting with Draenor. You are now the one getting credit for everything. You get credit for killing Onyxia. You get credit for defeating Deathwing. You get credit for defeating the Lich King. You get credit for all the major bad guys that have been plaguing. You get credit for resealing Saragos. Like, you get credit for all that. Now, you get credit. Actually, you get credit for killing Enzoth, one of the biggest, baddest, evil bad guys. Then for Battle for Azeroth, one of the most hated Well, take that back. Shadowlands was the most hated expansion so far, and you get credit for killing the Jailer. So, yeah, you still get credit. But yeah, that's like one of the main things of like all of the only 2 Rune Lords exist right now, and only one of them is not evil. Yeah. And she's formally chaotic evil, by the way.
Actually,
so
no, I think she is still evil. She's just hiding it really well. She and New Thassalon doesn't get murked.
She is now considered chaotic neutral because she has decided to pull over a new leaf. Do note that alignment no longer exists in 2nd edition, so take this with a grain of salt.
So here's something that I personally find kind of interesting that most people probably wouldn't be aware of. Zin Shalast is the capital of New Thassalon. This is the capital of
a new nation that just got created.
That the Rune Lord of Lust rules from Zin Shalast. Coincidentally, in the first adventure path that was ever produced for... Originally, it was produced for 3.5, but they redid it for Pathfinder 1st Edition. Rise of the Rune Lords.
You explore this city.
BDEG is the Rune Lord of Greed. I can't think of his name right now. His capital...
Korgus?
Something like that.
Korzog.
His capital was Zin Shalast. So you actually, as a player, have the opportunity to walk around and explore Zin Shalast, which ends up becoming the capital of a new nation.
Yeah.
Years down the line.
That's
pretty freaking cool.
It gets created way later. It gets created during Return of the Rune Lords.
Yeah, it happens...
Like, at the end...
Like
that's
10
like
years later?
10, 15 years later. Do note, Return of the Rune Lords is, like, the second to last book Adventure Path produced before 2nd edition officially becomes the new edition of... So... But yeah, New Thassalon is technically... It's north of Varisia. And there is no Old Thassalon anymore.
The first book of Return of the Rune Lords came out in 2018. Whereas Rise of the Rune Lords
came out in like 2007. If you go by the original publication, it's like 2009, I think. Something like that.
Yeah, the last book came out in 2008.
Yeah.
So there is a 11-year, 10-year difference between when Zin Shalast is purged and it gets refounded. If it even happens that it gets refounded in the first book, I'm not sure.
Zin Shalast effectively gets purged of its inhabitants. So 4702, actually 4706 is when officially it gets wiped out. Like a group of explorers goes in and wipes out everyone who lives there at the moment, which is like giants and dragons and weird shit, aberrations, like weird shit lives in Zin Shalast at the time. And then in 4719 it gets re-established by the Rune Lord Sorshin after she awakens from slumber.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually have a character that I have built and I've yet to play because I am holding them for Rise of the Rune Lords. I will not play them in any other campaign but
they are meant to be played in Rise of the Rune Lords, and I've been trying to get that game up and running. I just need a good group of players who are willing to stick with it for a while.
It's a dwarven wizard who is a runesmith. Now, the way I portray this in game is he crafts scrolls. Yes, he still has the ability to cast spells as normal for a wizard, but his speciality is he creates scrolls.
Do note all wizards get scribe scroll for free
to cast, as long as you're not playing society.
Yeah,
because
where
for
society,
reason there's no item crafting.
Well, that's because item crafting is very powerful.
Yeah,
it's one of the most powerful things in the game, especially if you're able to combine items, which most GMs may not allow you to do. Just letting you know that now, or they may give you magic items that are already combined.
With this character, one of the things that I did was there is an alternate rules set that you can actually play as a Sin Mage, which is what the Rune Lords are. They are all a Rune Lord of a Sin type.
They're
considered
Thessalonian mages.
Yeah. A Greed Mage, quote unquote, specializes in transmutation. We were just talking about the Rune Lord of Sloth. He specialized in conjuration, etc., etc. So this dwarven wizard that I have is a Greed Mage dwarven wizard who crafts scrolls. And the storyline that I have for him, in my mind, I don't know if it would come to fruition, but what I would like to see happen is he actually, once the Rune Lord of Greed is defeated, he usurps and claims the title as I am the new Rune Lord of Greed. Bow.
And then immediately get murdered by somebody.
Immediately gets freaking murdered. But
immediately gets murdered by Rune Lord of Envy.
Right, but I still think it would be a really cool story to tell and a character to play.
Yeah, so it's known as the Thessalonian Specialist. So the main thing is that the Thessalonian specialty gives you prohibited schools, and they are static, which is the main issue I have with it. It does give you an additional spell slot for your specialization. You get one extra spell slot for your specialization. You normally get one for your specialization if you don't pick universal list. So it gives you one extra specialization spell slot. Yeah. So technically, wizards have 5 spell slots rather than just 4 by 20th level on all spells, but one of them has to be, unless you're a universalist, which means they're technically equivalent to clerics of the domain.
Yeah.
But the issue I have is that they have prohibited schools, which means you cannot cast these spells whatsoever. Welcome to 3.5, motherfucker! These are no longer on your spell list. You have to use a UMD check to use a wand of cure light wounds, a magic missile wand, because you pick evocation as your forbidden school.
What are the forbidden schools of greed? I don't even remember.
For greed, they are enchantment and illusions, which means you cannot charm anybody and you can't cast major image.
Oh,
or mirror image without a UMD check.
Because illusion is a really good defense school.
Yeah. But so is transmutation. No. Don't forget this. Transmutation also has some good. Hey, do note the one you should not take is gluttony because it gets rid of abjuration.
Valid. Transmutation is a very dwarven style of magical defense. I tank your shit.
Yeah.
Whereas enchantment is more the I am going to have
someone else do
magical duplicates of myself that get hit in place.
That's illusion.
Or I am just going to.
You said enchantment by accident. You said enchantment.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant illusion. I apologize. Whereas illusion is like I am going to be invisible, so you can't even see that I'm here. I'm going to have mirror images so that you attack that instead.
Yeah.
Whereas transmutation, all right, cool. I'm made of stone now. Come at me.
Or you displace yourself so that you have a 50% miss chance. You know, those kinds of things. Unless anything has true sight, and then you're fucked.
When you get to the point where enemies start having true sight consistently,
yeah, that's
already
when
kind of boned.
yeah.
Regardless of what you're trying to do.
So the issue that I have with it is that some of the good ones, there are no good ones because many of them get rid of transmute. Some of them get rid of transmutation as like schools that you would want to have because there's if you get rid of transmutation, you get rid of a third of your spell list. There are that many transmutation spells in the game that a wizard that takes transmutation as a prohibited school gets rid of like a third of their spell list. Their entire spell list. Because there are just so many transmutation spells. Magic Weapon is a transmutation spell. All of the polymorph spells are transmutation spells. All of the actually Stone Skin is abjuration. Not
when did
transmutation.
They come out with the Rune Lord archetype?
The Thessalonian Specialist?
No,
the
I'm
rune.
On the wiki right
you
now,
mean the
and
rune?
there's literally a Rune Lord archetype.
That is second edition. That's second edition's archetype. That came out.
Why do they have to do this to me?
I believe.
Oh yeah, it's only is only in the context of Pathfinder Second Edition.
Yeah.
Or Pathfinder Lost Omens.
But do know.
Hey, Resident Rules lawyer, I need you to do some retrofitting for me.
So do know the Rune Lord archetype effectively is just the Rune Sage from first edition.
Okay, I know the name Rune Sage, but I can't.
The Rune Sage wizard archetype from first edition. That's all it is. Or it's the it also has the prerequisite of you must be a Rune Lord.
So there's also the I'm not sure if you're familiar, the prestige class that's practically the Rune Lord prestige class.
Yeah.
Called Cypher Mage.
Yeah. I mean there are archetypes and prestige classes that are more based around doing that stuff. So like the Cypher Mage. Oh, that's Fearwalker. Cypher. Duh. It's C for Cypher. Cypher Mage. Came out in Adventurer's Guide and Inner Sea Magic. The Adventurer's Guide, which is after. I think that's came out after the Rune Lords became more prominent in. Oh, I can't even look up when that book came out from that normal.
I don't know if there really is an
Guide.
after they became prominent. Literally, the first adventure path, the first published adventure, was based on Rune Lords.
I meant like they became more prevalent in the lore. Like they actually became characters. They weren't just a big bad evil guy who needed to be murdered. One moment, I gotta plug in my headset because it's about to die. Okay, headset's been plugged in. So the Adventurer's Guide for Pathfinder came out after Bestiary 6, so it came out in 2017. So that's way later, although that's an updated version. The other version was an Inner Sea Magic, which is the one book. Inner Sea Magic, which is a soft cover book. Yeah, it's a soft cover book that came out in 2011. So actually, this has been around a lot long. This has been around for a lot longer. From the Tortured Sands of the Man. Oh, this is actually where you get the mana. Why the mana wastes are a thing. Oh, this also gives you Winter Witches. This book also gives you the Winter Witch. So this book came out right before Lands of the Lenorm Kings, which means right before we start doing the Reign of Winter adventure path that they came out around that time.
All right, so here's another fun tidbit of Galarian lore. Do you know that Galarian exists in the same canonical universe as real world Earth, the world upon which us ourselves currently live?
Yeah. Do also note this actually came out it actually did technically, if you want to play Rise of the Rune Lords, you can't play a Thessalonian Sin Mage. Because Sin Magic is a forgotten art at this point in time in Rise of the Rune Lords.
Hold on. I have a way around that. So, in the city of... excuse me. Google, come here. Here, Google. Where are you? Hold on. What city is that? Nope, that's the wrong.
Are you talking about the city that's in Varissia?
Yes, it's in Varissia.
Not Sandpoint, but the major city. It's
Riddleport. There is a city called Riddleport, which is basically a pirate den. But the thing that makes it really interesting is over the bay that is the port of Riddleport, there is this old school Thessalonian arch that is carved with all kinds of Thessalonian runes. And there is an entire wizard school that study this arch that are known as the Cipher Mages. The backstory for my character for this particular campaign is that he was an apprentice for the Cipher Mages, and the campaign starts in Sandpoint. And the way I explained it for his backstory was that he was sent by the Cipher Mages to Sandpoint because there are the ruins of an old Thessalonian tower in Sandpoint, and they sent him to Sandpoint to study the tower. And that's why he's here when the adventure starts.
Yeah. Do note that you don't get to go to Riddleport until you don't even really go to Riddleport. You go to Magnamar first. No. I don't think you actually get to go to Riddleport.
Yeah, he doesn't need to go to Riddleport. I just use it as an explanation as to why he has the information he has.
Yeah. Do note that technically, under Rise of the Rune Lords, normally, if we were playing this normally, I would say you are limited to the core rulebook and any archetype and no archetypes and all that stuff. But I'm not going to do that because it's a boring story. Because yes, the book is going to be balanced around just the core rulebook because those were the only things out at the time. I will state that you cannot take blood money. I'm sorry, you cannot take blood money in Rise of the Rune Lords. Don't even give it to yourself.
Who actually uses blood money?
I do.
I have heard so many things about the spell blood money. I have never once in my 20...
So, blood money...
18 years of playing this game, I've never seen it cast.
You have seen Izora cast it already. Technically.
I didn't know that.
So, what it does is that you take 1d6 points of damage plus an amount of strength damage equal to 500 gold pieces an item is worth for a material component cost. It is a swift action to cast, and it is a first level spell. Note, it is a first level spell. It allows you to effectively circumvent high material cost items. And if you have a high enough strength, such as from Polymorph, you can circumvent even the Diamond for Wish. You can somehow get a 51 strength. Because for every 1,000 gold pieces, you take 1 point of strength damage for every 1,000 gold pieces that you wish to use. The main thing you use blood money for is like Stone Skin or something like that at the beginning of the day or at the beginning of combat, and then you're good. Because usually by the time that you get access to blood money in Rise of the Rune Lords, you hopefully have a character that can cast Lesser Restoration or Restoration on you on a regular basis.
You would hope.
Yeah. Let's just hope and pray that somebody actually plays a fucking cleric. And I will state this: many of the campaigns. So, here's the main thing: Rise of the Rune Lords is based around the core 4, which a lot of people will understand what I mean when I say the core 4. But if you do not, it is the fighter, cleric, rogue, wizard. Those are the core 4 of a party that you usually play as. Do note that Rise of the Rune Lords probably is built around any combination of 4 classes, but everybody has to play something different.
Yeah.
Do note that prestige classes are a major thing. in First Edition and in Rise of Runelords, playing an Arcane Trickster is actually viable. Playing a Dragon Disciple is viable. Playing a Eldritch Knight is viable. You know, those classes that got archetypes already associated with them, or got a whole class that actually made them slightly worse. Like, technically, Eldritch Knight is worse than a Magus, but an Eldritch Knight gets access to 9th level spells, so fuck you, Dave. Who can only cast 6th level spells. But yeah. I mean, the Arcane Trickster gets access to at least 8th level spells. So, actually, they could get access to 9th level spells. So, that's again another fuck you, Magus. Or Eldritch Scoundrel. You know?
Yeah.
But I would assume that everybody who will be playing it, if it ends up some way where because whenever you play a campaign, and this is something that is for everybody, and I'm going to state this now, if you are a GM or a DM, you should pay attention to what your players are taking when they level up. You should be reviewing your players' character sheets, mainly just to see what the fuck they can do. Now, yes, that is a lot to do, especially if you have 6 people in your party. Or 6 other players that you have to worry about. But you should at least be making notes of what your players can do and take. Now, of course, when you get up to the levels of a character can prepare 15 spells, and you're like, I don't know what the fuck he's preparing today. It happens.
That was the problem that I fell into when I ran a campaign for Brave and some of our other friends in my own homebrew setting. Basically, there was a war between the humans who were using demons as soldiers and everyone else. And it got to the point where I think they got to about level 13. I want to say level 12 or 13.
It was 13, almost 14 by the time, and then we effectively had just a counter for almost all of his combats, which was the problem.
I was trying so... Now, again, I was also... I would say I was pretty freaking novice at that point. I knew but I definitely was way too big for what I was...
It also didn't help that I think we were leveling a bit too quickly in the game, because we went from level 1 to level 13 pretty quickly.
I mean, it was about 2 years.
Yes.
1 to level 13.
Yeah, but usually it takes about a little bit longer than that. It probably about 2.5, depending on when. And I think that the campaign probably
most adventure paths are supposed to take about a year to play, and a lot of them end around level 14, 15, 17.
Yeah. But also, that's assuming the GM doesn't let the players go wild.
You know what? That's valid.
And the thing is that there's an issue with GMs also creating player characters, especially when you use a weapon like firearms, which are inherently powerful. They are way more powerful than the default bow.
Yeah. And that was one of the other things.
Because of the issue of the gunslinger class.
Yeah. As a DM, that was another failing of mine, because I didn't know how to make NPC monsters or NPC stat blocks. Yeah. So I was making essentially a player character of
NPCs.
Maybe a few levels lower than you guys, and throwing him at you as NPCs. It's like, hold on, wait.
Yeah.
Now that I know more, I know better than doing that.
Yeah, NPCs should never... If they're going to take a player class, it has to be like 5 levels lower than a normal player. Only reason is, especially with the gunslinger class specifically, as soon as the gunslinger gets to 5th level, they get access to gun training, which effectively just means they get to add their dex to damage.
So...
Which means that firearms crit on a natural 20, and they hit touch AC in their first range increment, or on any range increment if you happen to be using a very specific magic item. But
I still remember the first arc of that campaign
wasn't even about the humans.
Well, it wasn't about the humans yet, but basically what I had done, at least from a story perspective, or at least what I was trying to get through, the humans had developed black powder technology. They're the only species in my setting who had black powder technology at that point in time.
Yeah.
So what they proceeded to do was give a crapload of black powder equipment to the goblins, the most chaotic little shitlords ever, and say, hey, we're gonna give you all of this fire and explosives.
Yeah.
Goblins collectively jizzed their pants.
Yeah.
And all you have to do in return is fuck up everybody else.
Yeah.
That was their whole thing, because they wanted to basically start weakening the other races of this other continent before they even bothered to invade. Why kill off our own soldiers when we could have these people we don't give a single solitary about die in our place?
And then the goblins fucked up.
And then the goblins got a little bit too big for their britches, and this group of 4 adventurers went into Goblin Town and absolutely laid waste to it.
Yeah. Now,
but the first thing that I ran you guys through, you guys were level, what, 2 when you reached Goblin Town?
Something like that. But then we got to like level 6 by the time we were done with it.
Yeah.
Which was
level
like
2 versus goblins with alchemist levels throwing bombs.
Yeah.
And gunslingers shooting guns at you.
Yeah.
And from that point on, the nuclear arms race was
began. It began. And that was the major problem, is that it then became a nuclear arms race between the players and the GM. You never want that to have happen. The only reason you don't want it to have happen is because the GM starts to then throw bigger and bigger threats. And then at some point, the GM is going to overtune a monster or overtune a bad guy. And they are just going to TPK the entire party. And it will technically be the GM's fault for overtuning, and then it's going to feel like that the players were targeted. They were targeted by their weaknesses the entire time, because you were also making characters that literally targeted our weaknesses, pretty hard.
And here was the thing that really, again, I was How long ago was Demon Wars?
Not long ago.
Really? It feels like it was a while back.
Couple of years.
Well, I've definitely matured a lot since then. Let's just put it that way.
Well, we've also played more games, and we've discussed some things and all that stuff.
Well, when I ran that game, I was very much, especially due to the.
It's actually almost been 2. It's been almost 2 years. It's been a little less than 2 years.
Really, it feels like it's been longer than that. Anyway.
Well, do note, I just scrolled up in Demon Wars and I found the post when you said where you said I'm done. Yeah, and that was the thing. And you've matured more, and the game you're running now has definitely shown that you have matured more. It also helps that we're level 2, level 3. We're not level fucking 13. So
you guys are currently level 2, and you're gonna be probably leveling
3. We're level 3.
Yeah, you're level 3 right now, and you're probably gonna level up to 4 probably next session.
Yeah. I assume we're about to go to the next dungeon. So
you guys are actually technically, so you weren't there for last session, but you guys are technically in the next dungeon.
Okay. That's all I needed to know.
But the situation that I got myself into is I didn't want to TPK the party. I was trying very, very hard not to overtune shit where I just curb stomped you.
Yeah.
But it got to the point where either I curb stomped you or the monsters got curb stomped. Yeah. There was no such thing as a fair, balanced, even fight.
Yeah, and that was the major issue.
That's the thing that just broke me, because I was
putting it took you put a lot of hours into it, and then you're like, my players defeated it in 2 rounds. Well, and that was just
the final dungeon that we played. We only completed half of it. But the final dungeon that we played, I did the math. I had over 120 hours building, designing, mapping, and making the custom encounters for that dungeon.
Yeah, and then we went through half of it.
There was not a single encounter in that dungeon that lasted more than 3 rounds, and you guys completed half of the dungeon in 2 sessions.
Yeah, but that's also because we were level 13, and we also had abilities that you had given us that you forgot about, and all that other stuff. So, like, it was equal parts you and equal parts us. Like, and technically you built those encounters towards a lot of our strengths, which just happened that way. Like,
yeah, but that was also me trying very hard not to
curb stomp
as purposely targeting the party.
and it's the thing of, like, if you have a character that has access to dominate person, yes, it is thematically appropriate to dominate monster the fighter or dominate person the fighter. It's thematically appropriate. It's what the big bad evil guy would do.
Do you remember?
It's why you need. It's why everybody. Yeah, and feeble mind really
on the freaking on the necromancer?
on effectively the wizard equivalent, and that was very devastating. And he effectively was not able to play his character for a while, which does hurt.
So much venom from that player.
Yeah,
that's genuinely why I ended up giving him an out. Yeah, because I felt so bad.
Yeah.
About it,
and it would have been fine.
I did not have a backbone. I could not do something that made you guys mad because I was still at that point where I was.
You wanted to
stop being my friend.
No, and it's not that we wanted a fair game. That is what we want. That is what I want. I always want a fair game. It's why I don't rules lawyer because I want it to be fair. I rules lawyer everybody at the table. I do it to everybody. I don't just do it to the GM. I do it to everybody at the table. But I usually try to inform people that that is not how that works. Does he have an ability? He does. Okay, I will shut up now. Because usually there is a specific, like, if there's a build a monster can do, the players can, in quotes, technically do it as well. Like, grapple builds and all that other stuff. It's just I want a fair game, and I want to maintain a game state that is everybody is playing, not really playing they are having fun doing people are doing what they are specialized in, because Pathfinder First Edition rewards speciality and not versatility, even though wizards are still the most powerful classes in the game, but we won't go there. Same as clerics and druids. Yes, druids are one of the most powerful classes in the game. You can go fight me in over there in the thing. Go fight the dragon. See what happens.
No, I'm very familiar with the absolute. There's
Shitstorm.
There's a reason the saying goes: "You do not threaten a druid in their own forest."
Yeah, you don't threaten a cleric in their temple. You don't threaten a wizard in their tower, and you don't threaten a druid in their forest.
Yep.
And just don't threaten a sorcerer, because they might just blow you up.
Right.
Don't threaten an oracle. They might curse you. Don't threaten a witch. They might turn you into a toad forever. Don't threaten...
Don't threaten a kineticist. They will boil your brains inside of your skull.
Yep.
Hey, guys.
I am streaming at the moment, just to let you know.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to tell you guys that I won my first Warhammer match.
Nice!
Good for you.
Yeah. I won by points, 83-73, with orcs from Astra Militarum.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
One for the orc boys.
It was a very hard-fought match that, at the beginning, it looked like I was going to lose, but I started just pressing forward and being tactical, and I end up winning.
Start being un-orky with your orcs. Great. Got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you gotta be un-orky with your orcs in 40k. But no.
I'm just happy I won.
But no, we're just mostly discussing TTRPG stuff. So.
Win.
Yay!
Alright, well, I'll let you guys have a good night. I
Alrighty.
just wanted to hop on here since I saw you guys were here and tell you I won.
Alrighty. See ya.
Later.
Have a good evening, bud.
Have a good evening.
But yeah,
That was our friend Will. He's one of the other players in our playing group.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, many of the people that I play, I tried to be thoughtful of, like, it's why, because some people still don't get through their heads of, like, what feats do I have? I'm like, you're the one with the character. I'm only asking because I don't have access to your sheet. Because there are feats that you have to take in order for some rules to not apply.
Yeah.
Like, if you're playing any ranged-based character, including a wizard, you gotta take Precise Shot. Precise Shot negates a penalty that you take for firing into melee. You need to have that feat if you're going to use something like a cantrip that has a range attached to it. Although you really don't want to use cantrips, because cantrips suck in Pathfinder 1st Edition. Many of them only do a D3 of damage. Unless you use Disrupt Undead. But
that's one thing that I do think, and oh my god,
so,
I'm about to speak some heresy. That's one thing that I do like that 5e did, that Pathfinder...
And Pathfinder 2nd Edition did as well.
They
both
did.
did.
Okay.
They did in 2nd Edition as well.
Even if you made it a feat, I would be fine with that.
I think it could be rebalanced to where Pathfinder 1st Edition could have cantrips not deal a D3 of damage. I probably could see them doing a D6. I could see them maybe just doing a D4. I could see some specific ones doing a D8. But I don't see them ever going up to a D12 or a D10. I'm sorry.
So,
3-minute ad break. Screw it. Huh? Screw the 3-minute ad break on Twitch. That they can
even
go watch
even if
YouTube.
You put it behind a
feat chain.
Even if you put it behind a feat chain,
I would probably you need spell focus.
Cantrip master. Yeah, spell focus.
You need spell focus.
Master, improved cantrip master, and greater cantrip master. You increase the damage dice of your chosen cantrip. Pick one of your chosen cantrip by 1 damage die.
You need
then improved increases it by another one, and greater, so that you eventually go from a D3 to a D8.
Yeah.
Right.
So you would need. So it would be. You need Spell Focus, Evocation, or Conjuration, because Acid Splash is not an Evocation, and Ray of Frost is the only other damage-dealing cantrip. Right. Or Spell Focus Necromancy, if you really wanted to take Disrupt Undead, but I'm going to go ahead and state this. You're not taking Disrupt Undead to increase, because it already does D6, and in my honest opinion, if you're taking Skill Focus Necromancy, you're not taking it for improved cantrip mastery.
And the only time you're taking Disrupt Undead is if you are playing a campaign in Geth.
Or undead are the primary antagonist. Vampires still exist. And even then, you may be playing a cleric instead, so it doesn't frickin' matter. Just use conjuration healing magic. So you're gonna actually because Cure Light Wounds is a conjuration spell in Pathfinder 1st Edition, not a necromancy spell. Get that out of your fucking heads, 5e people. It's not a necromancy. Never been necromancy. Shouldn't have been necromancy. It's like Raise Dead is also not necromancy. It's conjuration healing, I think. It was changed to necromancy because necromancy was changed to be the process of life and death, I think. Instead of it just being undead related.
You know, I have always liked the idea of healing magic falling under the necromantic banner.
Mm-hmm.
But that's primarily because conjuration already has both summoning and teleportation.
And calling.
Now I understand. Yeah, well, calling
and summoning are technically two separate things. Summoning, you summon something under your control. Calling, you call to bargain with something.
Well,
and teleportation, and creation, and insert other thing here. Because there's like 4 different sub-schools.
I understand why healing is considered conjuration in the setting of Galarian.
So,
because you are literally opening a pathway to the plane of
positive energy. Or negative energy. And
using it to heal. I get that. But at the same time, conjuration has so much other shit going on. If someone wanted to change it to necromancy, I could 100%.
I could see it changing to necromancy, especially since Inflict Wounds, I think, is already considered a necromancy spell. I could be wrong. It could be. I'd have to look it up. But in 3.5, this is all 3.5 lore, technically. The reason why it's Conjuration Healing is because you're opening up a plane to the Positive Energy Plane. Positive Energy Plane no longer exists, from what I can tell, on the Forgotten Realms. I don't think that plane exists anymore. So Pathfinder First Edition just rolled with it and being like, oh, you're opening up a plane. You're opening up a small portal to the Positive Energy Plane. Also, technically, between 3.5 and Pathfinder First Edition, a lot of the base classes from the core rulebook, from the player's handbook, were buffed. Some were nerfed. Technically, Cleric, I think, was the only one that was nerfed. It lost one proficiency, but gained a whole other bunch of powers, so I think it evened out. Clerics lost heavy armor proficiency from the jump between 3.5 and Pathfinder First Edition.
Yeah.
But I think out of all of the classes, the class that has some of the most powerful defense spells in the game that can just up your AC kind of deserved it. But it's, again, in Pathfinder First Edition or in any game, it's actually better to have characters have their AC have AC either be bypassed or ignored. Like, technically a 50% miss chance is very powerful because it just means they don't roll an attack against you at all. It's like why Mirror Image is also very powerful, because it gives you a chance of negating a hit. And potentially even negating a critical hit. Which, in First Edition, critical hits are a lot nastier. Because it's not just double... It can be double, triple, or quadruple the amount of damage you deal from the weapon. This includes the weapon damage die gets up to quadrupled, and the bonuses applied to that weapon get quadrupled. And it could be a two-handed weapon, which means you add in a 50% more of your strength to that weapon. So, yeah, it gets nasty. You can do well over, like, 300 points of damage on a critical hit. But also you have to confirm the crit, unless you're playing a level 20 fighter. And then you automatically confirm your critical hit with your chosen weapon.
I still love the two-handed warrior fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Still, in my personal opinion, the best 20th level character in the game.
So, literally, the simplest build in the entire game is literally pick up a fighter, grab a two-handed weapon, and go bonk things. It's the easiest build, and it's the most straightforward build in the entire game.
One of the things for the two-handed warrior archetype specifically that I really, really like, I think it's at level 18. Two-handed fighter, okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
At level 18, they have an ability. They take a -5 penalty to hit, but if they hit, they automatically confirm, or they automatically threaten a critical hit.
They threaten a critical hit, and then if you're level 20, your threatened criticals automatically are confirmed.
Automatically confirmed.
Yeah.
So if you take a -5 to hit, you can crit on every single attack.
And with the fighter, it's guaranteed you're gonna hit. Fighters have the best to hit in the game, given that they have at that level they got a +4 to hit, and they have potentially a +2 from weapon focus and greater weapon focus, so they automatically get a +6 on top of being a 20 BAB increase. So they literally get 20. That's a 20 +26 to hit, potentially a +13 to hit, with another +5, so it's like 42 or some shit like that, just off of wet like that. Like, and I'm like, oh my god. Fighters have the best chance to hit. Barbarians are close, and then paladins, depending on what enemy you're going up against, and rangers, depending on what enemy you're going up against, and then blood ragers and barbarians are effectively equal. And those are pretty much all of the standard D10 hit die classes. I guess technically you could also include the Cavalier, but they're charge-based, they're mount-based, so they don't really count.
So here's a build that I heard about that I was contemplating, and I think it might actually be pretty freaking decent. A barbarian, specifically the Unchained Barbarian.
Yeah.
multi-classed with a kineticist. So here's how it would work. Kineticists can get an infusion where they can use their kinetic blast through a weapon. So you use that, and then you use your barbarian rage to offset the burn, and you hit people with way more heat than you should be.
Here's the problem with that. Under rage, it specifically states you cannot cast spells.
Kinetic abilities or spell-like abilities?
Which includes spell-like abilities. Spell-like abilities require concentration to still technically cast. Due to how rules work.
Unfortunate.
So yes, it would be cool, but rules as written does not work.
Unfortunate.
It's because they really were trying to make sure that barbarians could not rage and then do that. it's why kineticists. It's one of those issues where multi-classing into kineticist, you really don't want. You got to figure out which class you're playing because kineticist falls into the same problem as brawlers and monks and rogues, where the moment you multi-class, your damage goes down because...
Yeah. I absolutely adore the kineticist class, as you well know. I play them constantly. But you cannot multi-class a kineticist.
No.
As soon as you do, your potential drops like a rock.
It drops like a rock. It's the same thing as, like, rogue. Rogue is a bit better. Monk and Brawler are also not great to multi-class out of because of their damage die goes up the more levels you take in those classes. Your unarmed strikes do more damage, effectively. Going up to a 2d10 by level 20, which I know is a lot higher than you 3.5 monks who only get up to a D10. But remember, monsters in Pathfinder First Edition have a lot more hit points on average, mainly because they kind of need to, because you do a shit ton more damage. It's not just a +5 or a +8 to damage. Or plus whatever if you're raging with a barbarian. It's like sometimes +15 or 52 depending on class.
Okay. So I just Googled it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to bring 2 points.
Okay.
To the barbarian kineticist.
Mm-hmm.
The urban barbarian archetype allows you to do cerebral tasks while raging.
Correct.
So that would work. And also, they came out with a feat specifically for the Blood Rager, so not technically a barbarian, but still, that allows you to cast spells from any class that grants them while in a Blood Rage.
You could do it with the Blood Rager. I would allow you to do it with the Blood Rager, but I would not. Do note that technically you would have to go with the Urban Barbarian, or you would need to play a Blood Rager.
Yeah.
Both of those would work. Do note, again, there is an exception to the rule.
Yeah, there's always an exception to the rule, and this is where the min-maxy and rules crunch of Pathfinder 1E is so much fun for us. Is because it's just like, all right, cool. So that's the rule? Cool. How do I get around it?
What esoteric random ruling is there? Do I need to go look up on a forum on what the actual ruling is? Because sometimes you do. You really do. Sometimes you really have to look, because sometimes the rule's just not clear. And usually there's already an answer for it. Most of the time, just ask your GM, hey, does this work? Sometimes the GM will say yes, or no, I thought it worked this way. We'll do some discussion, discuss with your GM. Don't just assume something. Ask your GM. My God, people need to stop just assuming things. Ask your GM, ask your Dungeon Master how something works.
You mean I can't just assume that my first level character starts with 10 million gold and 3 artifact tier magic items? What the hell?
Yeah, no, that ain't happening ever. I'm gonna go, and what's gonna happen is your character's gonna get struck by a god. Which god is it? I don't know. The god of pain!
All of them.
Zon Kuthon comes from the depths of the Shadow Realm, pulls you and takes you into the Shadow Realm. The Shadow
Oh,
Play.
so you get Drarzaged.
Drazend. Not Drarzaged. You get Drazend. Yes, he comes himself being like, this is mine now, this is mine now. Oh, by the way, this is my spike chain. It is now around your neck, and you're coming with me. Roll me and I would just be cheeky, and I'm like, roll me a saving throw, natural 20. Okay, re-roll that. Wait, what? Yeah, re-roll it. Another natural. No, you're going to keep re-rolling, because Zancuthon has 15 abilities that allows him to just make you re-roll until you fail. So you rolled a natural 1. Okay, fine. You're just dead. No longer in the game. Do know, and also the god has no stats, because once you put stats on something, players are going to try to kill it.
Well, see, this is a deity, so his power word kill affects anything with less than 1,000,000 hit points.
Or 1,000. I mean, you could just say 1,000. Nothing has over 1,000 hit points. Or I could just do, power word paralysis. Or I could just say, you're paralyzed forever. You're paralyzed forever. Sorry. No, wish can't help you either. I'm sorry.
Alright. So here's something for you.
Oh, you're immune to paralysis? Oh, okay. No, you're not.
Flesh to stone is a worse fate than death.
Petrification,
Because you aren't dead. Your
Nope.
soul is still trapped there.
Well, technically, Pharasma gets
Forever.
pissed. Pharasma gets pissed when you get turned into stone, but Zancuthon doesn't care.
Well,
Because
that's such a
it's a fate worse than death.
Is such a common fate. That sounds weird to say, but it is.
It is worse than death, and the only time that you actually get destroyed is when the whole entire statue gets destroyed. Which effectively just means that the statue gets 0 hit points and becomes dead, effectively. Destroyed. Which I would say then the body can no longer be recovered without a wish spell.
I'm just sitting over here like, if you really wanted to fuck with someone...
Just put a basilisk right in front of them.
You flesh to stone that poor bastard. Chop the head of the statue off and just take it with you.
Or, after you chop the head off, just do stone to flesh. And watch them die in front of you. Because...
Well, I mean, I still personally think leaving them turned to stone is still worse than death.
It still is a fate worse than death.
You don't go to the boneyard. You don't get judged. You don't.
Or you don't go to the river of souls, depending on your cosmology. Your soul does not move on.
Stuck. You are just freaking.
Although
stuck there. You don't want to be stuck there. Tough shit.
Oh no, and then insert deity here grabs your body and it grabs your statue and just takes it with them.
Right.
Do note this is usually an evil deity, because I would not do this with a good deity. No, all evil deities are pricks. Oh, Norgrbur has decided to say, I'm gonna murder you now. Because he's the god of murder.
Yep.
He will just outright murder you.
Is it Norgrbur, or is it the what? Fucking Mantis God?
The Mantis God is assessed. Eridan? It is unknown how Eridan died.
Yes, it's technically unknown, but the
it is assumed that Norgrbur killed him.
Okay.
Because Norgrbur is the god of murder. Remember, murder. The Mantis God only murders nobles that think they're supposed to be hot shit. False nobles.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was him or...
The Mantis God only kills people... is an assassin. He kills targets. Who says that Asmodeus didn't put a target on Eridan, too? I mean, that could have happened, too.
I mean, that's valid. That's freaking valid.
Do know.
The amount of shit that he was doing on the material plane, a lot of deities probably wanted him dead.
Yeah, I mean, he was also the god of prophecy. It's why in the era that we're in now on Pathfinder is called the era of Lost Omens, because omens no longer work. Prophecies fail about 80% of the time. There are a few prophecies that have come to fruition, but usually that's because they've been super vague. But prophecies fail. Foresight longer than like a day fails. That kind of thing. Yeah. Anything that like prophesizes your son will be born and then take over your throne forcefully, you know, that kind of thing, no longer comes to pass because the god of foresight is dead. Although there are some things that he might not be dead, but he hasn't given power to any new cleric in a while, so yeah he's assumed
But
dead.
it's actually kind of interesting. The Church of Eridan, even though it is now defunct and has no divine patron,
Still has worshippers.
Well, yes, he still has worshippers, and it still owns more property than any other religious body in the
Material plane on Galarian.
Inner Sea region.
Yeah. But it's also that thing of, like, we'd have to go into a whole reason as to why that Eridan's dead. Eridan died during the time of Rovagug's imprisonment, or right after his imprisonment, which is the reason why Galarian is technically created.
Galarian was created as a prison for Rovagug. Rovagug was imprisoned before life was allowed to exist on the planet. Yeah,
Rovagug is also known as the god of devourers, or the devouring god. He devours worlds.
If he was to ever be released,
it's also assumed he's about
the end of existence.
He's also assumed to be a Qliploth god. Yes. A god from the Qliploths, which are
canonically
from the abyss, by the way.
When all of the deities banded together to capture him,
Asmodeus
he
did this
canonically
too.
killed, Asmodeus, all of them that existed at the time. Probably 90% of them that existed at the time.
Even Zon Kuthan, before he was Zon Kuthan.
Yeah, before he was evil, Zon Kuthan was part of this. Zon Kuthan's dad was part of this.
Which is also Shaylin's dad.
Yes. They banded together to trap him. He killed hundreds of true deities before they were able to cage him within Galarian.
A lot of the Aslanti pantheon was wiped out.
A lot of pantheons were wiped out.
There's also Zon Kuthan also went crazy after that.
Yeah.
He wasn't called Zon Kuthan beforehand. He was called someone else. And also, what's funny in the lore is that Zon Kuthan priests or cultists will not attack a Shaylin priest or priestess.
Yes.
That is like a particular doctrine, is that we may be the god of pain, but we do not do pain to our god's sister patrons.
Yep.
Because then we get Zon Kuthan's wrath, and then he likes to torture us for all of eternity.
Which is weird because they are BDSM.
But he is also lawful. But he is also lawful evil. So
true.
He has a code, and his code is: we inflict pain, but only to those who deserve it. And none of Shaylin's priests deserve it.
Everyone knows what a Tarrasque is. If you don't,
it's the most powerful creature in all of... You've been living under a rock. The Tarrasque is meant to be the most powerful magical beast, or... It's effectively a campaign ender, because...
Oh, it's a world ender!
It's technically a setting ender. Like, it devours. Yeah. It's a city ender. It is a monster that is meant to destroy cities. It actually has stats to destroy cities.
The Tarrasque, the stereotypical most powerful creature you could face in combat.
That's more powerful than even a dragon, by the way. Even an ancient dragon.
Of the spawns of Rovagug.
Yep. There's like 4 of them now.
These are the children who happened to escape. These are the equivalent of a drop of his blood. And if one of them shows up, it is a world-changing event.
Yeah, so I believe this is part of Rovagug's divine power seeping out of the cage that he's in, but if all 4 of them all of a sudden decided, I think there's 4 of them right now, but it's a sign.
I think there's more.
There might be 5 now, but there's not a lot of spawns of Rovagug, because they're all considered spawns of Rovagug. The Tarask is the most powerful of the spawns of Rovagug, I think. There might be some... Based off of CR, I think the Tarask is the strongest.
Yeah.
It's actually stronger than even an Ancient Red Dragon by like 2 points of CR, but technically an Ancient Red Dragon also could not kill a Tarask because a Tarask is immune to fire. And acid, by the way. It can also regenerate and has no way of getting rid of its regeneration. There are ways to kill a Tarask, but usually in order to kill a Tarask, you have to move it to a different plane of existence. I think in PF1E, there's only like 3 or 4 spawns of Rovagug now.
Well, there is a location in Galarian known as the Pit of Gormuz. This is the canonical origin of every single one of the spawns of Rovagug. They all come from here because this is the closest location in Galarian to the cage at the center of the planet that is the cage of Rovagug. It is said that in the Pit of Gormuz, you will find, and this is canon. This is canon to Galarian. You can find literal piles of fecal matter from the spawns of Rovagug. And the flies that eat off of these piles of fecal matter will grow to the size of a house. That's just one of the things that are here.
There are 5 spawns of Rovagug. Each one is CR 20 or higher. One of them being the Tarask. The other 4 are actually named.
Yep.
One of them spawns is primarily in the Darklands. One of those is in Sothis. The other one is in Casmaran. And the other one can be found anywhere. Oh, there's also a spawn of Yogg-Sothoth. It exists. Elder Gods are a thing, and they are actually statted. Yes, you can go fight Cthulhu if you wanted to.
I'm trying to figure out which one of the spawns of Rovagug was the giant frickin' beetle that was killed by an Osiriani pharaoh.
Do note the spawns of Rovagugs can't be killed normally. Even normally. It's probably Volnagaru? Volnagar?
That's a worm.
The immense creature warty body is shaped like a money-pointed star, and from it sprouts nearly a dozen different wings.
No, that's not it.
Is it the monarch worm?
No.
That's a...
Ulanot.
Oh, Ulanot?
Festering Ulanot, the unholy first. The first spawn of Rovagug. As the spawn best known in Avestan and Garoon, the golden four-winged beetle emblem of Osirian is stylized and greatly toned down version of Ulanot, and its colossal carapace, known as the Black Dome, is the center point for the Osiriani capital city of Sothis. This creature, which at the time when it was alive was a CR-24 creature, was killed by one of the first and most powerful Osiriani pharaohs, and they literally built the capital city of the country around its corpse.
Yeah, issue. It will come back at some point. And when it
Probably.
does... Well, they can't be killed.
And when it does, everyone is fucked.
Yeah. They cannot be killed. He is in a long hibernation at the moment. So... that is why... it is in hibernation. And once it wakes up, everyone's screwed.
I wonder if they have stats.
Yes, they do have stats.
Holy crap, they made stats for it.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
What, the festering
Devour
Ulanot?
magic.
Yeah.
Ulanot has the ability to absorb magic directed at it and create arcane feedback that has potential to shred a spellcaster's mind. Whenever Ulanot is targeted by a spell or spell-like ability, the caster may must a DC 30 will save or be affected as if they were targeted by Phantasmal Killer. If Ulanot is in the area of effect of a spell or spell-like ability, the caster must succeed a DC will save of 30 or be affected as if they were targeted by Insanity.
Do note, Phantasmal Killer
Wow.
kills you if you fail the will save and then fail a fortitude save.
That
And
is
then Insanity
vicious.
makes you permanently confused. Permanently confused, which means you'll likely kill yourself within like 30 minutes. Because based off of how those rolls go, you will just do 1d8 plus your strength modifier and damage to yourself until you either pass out or die. Probably pass out because you likely can't kill yourself with confusion.
Yeah. Alright, so here's what you were talking about a minute ago. Regeneration. Like all spawns of Rovagug, Ulanot is nearly an indestructible force. No form of attack can suppress Ulanot's regeneration, which, how much regen does this bastard have? He has a regeneration of 30.
Yep.
He could fully heal from 0 in less than 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
No form
Technically,
of
it would
attack
take
can-
him 2 rounds to come back from negative 35.
Well, yeah, but he could go from 0 hit points to fully healed in less
Mhm.
than 30 minutes. And yet
Yeah.
somehow they have kept this son of a bitch, quote-unquote, dead for how long has Osirian
He's not
been around?
immune. He's immune to He's not immune to acid. So they
Oh,
probably just dump acid on his body every once in a while and call it a day.
Probably.
I mean,
No form of attack can suppress Ulanot's regeneration. It regenerates even if disintegrated or slain by a death effect. If Ulanot fails a save against an effect that would kill it instantly, it rises from death 3 rounds later with 1 hit point, and if no further damage has been dealt to its remains. It can be banished or otherwise transported as means to save a region from devastation, but a method to kill a spawn of Rovagug like the Ulanot has yet to be discovered.
which means they probably have dumped in a vat of acid.
Well, seeing as how the literal, like, not capital, it's the capital city is built around it, but like the throne room of the pharaoh is in like its head.
Yeah.
They probably just have a shitload of like mages and wizards and people of that nature just
They just keep
constantly
stabbing
casting.
it or
It's just
stab it.
All right, guys. So we have 15 shifts of wizards who just cast freaking scorching ray at the wall every 15.
The only issue with that is that I wonder how many people have died from Phantasmal Killer and have died from Insanity.
Oh God.
Because
Hardly
Devour
allowed.
Magic is still technically in effect.
Oh no. Yeah, it is an extraordinary ability, so it would be in effect even if it's unconscious.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which probably means that they just get alchemists, make alchemist flasks, then just, throw it at the wounds.
Probably.
Because it is also immune to permanent wounds, technically.
They take one of its massive freaking legs, dig a massive fucking pit in the ground, drop his leg down in there, and keep the pit full of acid.
Yeah, that's probably what they do. I would assume that that's what they have to do, because spawns of Rovagug cannot be killed. They don't... Short of literally transporting it to another plane of existence, and then at some point it's still gonna fucking come back, because the demons or devils are just gonna be like, we don't want this anymore.
That would be one hell of a freaking strategy. Let's take the freaking celestial host, they band together, kidnap a spawn of Rovagug, and just yeet that bitch into the abyss. Just freaking, here, take this, bitch, yeet!
Yeah.
Because, I mean, other than named demon lords, the most powerful sons of bitches out there are gonna be the
Baylor
freaking,
demons.
Baylor demons, and those are CR 20?
Yeah, I mean, they still have a fighting chance against this thing.
Yeah, but then it comes back, and
Yeah.
it keeps coming back, and it keeps coming back. And you're gonna run out of Baylor demons before this bastard runs out of regen.
Unless those Baylor demons keep rolling natural 20s and its head keeps coming off.
But I mean, in Galarian, isn't it when a demon dies, it just gets reformed as a lesser demon, and it has to re-evolve its way up the ranks?
No, when a demon dies that is on the material plane, their soul gets right back. Their body and soul gets slurped back to the abyss. Yeah. When they die in the abyss, they die for good. No resurrection. Oh. They are dead. When you die on your home plane, you are dead. No second chances.
Huh. I thought they just got, like, a Baylor demon would just get evolved to a freaking Dretch or some shit.
No, because Dretches are just human souls that went to the abyss and do not evolve.
Huh.
Because demons were created because of the emotion of man. I wonder where I've heard that one before.
That's not a common backstory
40K
at all.
Go look up 40K if you don't know what I'm talking about. Warhammer 40K specifically. That's why the Qliphloths are mad, by the way, because the Abyss was their home, and then the demons came, and then Qliphloths now have the entire thing of we must destroy humanity because they stored up our home.
Curious, what are the runnings of the other spawns of Rovagug? Oh, they just have default spawn of Rovagug traits. That's great. That's beautiful. I am scared now.
Yeah, all of them have damage reduction of 15 epic. All of them have an Aura of Terror that's 300 feet, that has a 300-foot radius. So even if you do note that Aura of Terror has a DC 32 or 26, depending on which Rovagug spawn you're looking at. All of them have SR equal to 11 plus its CR. Good luck casting Power Word Kill on it.
Oh, look at this one. Temnosit, the Monarch Worm. Yeah, are you a fan of Tremors? Have you ever had the idea of a worm big enough to eat your house whole? Let's introduce you to the Monarch Worm. CR23 Colossal Magical Beast, which makes him I'm pretty sure he's bigger than a blue whale.
Colossal's the largest size, and that's a 40 by 40, I want to say. Or 25. Technically, it encompasses a 25 by 25 foot square. If I remember correctly. Medium, large is 2 by 2, huge is 3 by 3, gargantuan's 4 by 4, colossal's 5 by 5.
So a blue whale is also considered a colossal-sized creature. So
5 by 5.
Worm is the size of a blue freaking whale.
Do note, colossal also encompasses anything that is bigger than a specific size. It just encompasses a 25 by 25 foot square because that's as big as the grid will let you go.
Yes.
That's not including a creature that might happen to be larger than the map. If it is, it is the environment.
Sticks to the tentacles. I don't know what kind of hentai these people watch, but I am not interested.
It also has a disintegration ray that crits on a 19 to 20. It
has disintegration ray
as an at-will ability that crits on a 19 to 20.
When a creature can just start disintegrating at will, I just don't want to be anywhere near.
And if you're wondering what disintegrate does, it does 2d6 per caster level. This creature has 27 hit die. It does fucking 54d6 plus 27 points of damage to you.
And
if you fail a fortitude save.
And if you die, you and all of your gear
become dust. No, if you go to 0 hit points, even if you pass the save, you turn to dust.
Yeah.
With your gear.
Isn't the only thing that can resurrect you from disintegrate either
true resurrection
or
resurrection does work because the pile of ash counts as a body part. Technically, if I remember correctly. Let me read disintegrate real quick. Which, by the way, is a 7th level fucking wizard spell.
I'm gonna continue commenting on the other bullshit that this fucking worm can do while you look that up. Hungry Gaze. Chemoset's Gaze attack deals 3d6 points of a non-lethal damage plus fatigue at a distance of 120 feet. On a DC 30 Fortitude save, negates the fatigue. Not the damage, just the fatigue. Goody. Creatures already fatigued become exhausted, and creatures already exhausted become staggered. A creature that fails this save must succeed a DC 30 will save or gain an overwhelming compulsion to eat the flesh of creatures of its type, including its own
ghoul
if
hunger.
no other is available.
Woo! Oh, it's actually got a DC 21
This
disintegrate.
dude just shows... Okay. This dude just shows up and everyone starts trying to cannibalize each other.
Yeah.
Let's not have that be a thing, please.
So disintegrate. A disintegrated creature equipment is unaffected, so it just disintegrates the body. Oh, it does 40d6 points of damage. My bad. It's just 40d6. It doesn't do anything else. It's just 40d6. Actually, what's its caster?
No, 40d6. 40d6. That's so low. We need to find something better.
On a failed save, it's 40d6. On a successful save, it's only 5d6 points of damage. This is a 6th level spell.
Nothing to scoff at from a at-will ability. 5d6 is still nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, it's still nothing to scoff at. And if you're reduced to 0, if the creature or object is reduced to 0 or fewer hit points, it is entirely disintegrated. Disintegrate technically turns you into a pile of ash. Any creature reduced to 0 or fewer hit points by this spell is entirely disintegrated, leaving behind only a trace of fine dust. Now, it does not state anything in this part about resurrection, so we gotta go look up the resurrection spell. Do note, Raise Dead does not work, but I believe resurrection should. Because resurrection just requires a, Okay, why did Resurrection not pop up in the fucking Cleric spell list? The fuck? Where the fuck are you, Resurrection? Oh, wait. Should be a 7th level spell. There it is. You can resurrect somebody killed by a death effect or someone who has been turned into an undead creature and then destroyed. You cannot resurrect someone who has died of old age. Construct elementals, outsiders, and undead cannot be resurrected. Spell functions raise dead except any deceased creature. Condition of the remains is not a factor. So long as the small portion of the creature's body still exists, it can be resurrected, but the portion receiving the spell must have been part of the creature's body at the time of death. The remains of a creature hit by a disintegration spell count as a small portion of its body. So you can get resurrected by Resurrection, which is a 7th level Cleric Oracle spell or an 8th level Shaman Witch spell. True Resurrection requires no body. No corpse. Let me rephrase that. Or part of the body. Because I know somebody's going to make the joke of, no body, I barely knew body. With True Resurrection being a 9th level Cleric Oracle spell, and they're the only ones that get access to it, which is why many people say you need a Cleric on your team, but we won't go there. It also costs 25,000. Also costs 25,000 gold piece diamond. So good luck. As well as Resurrection, they have to be null dead longer than 1 year per caster level. But True Resurrection, neighborhood cards whose bodies have been destroyed, provided that you ambiguously identify the deceased in some fashion. Reciting the deceased's time and place of birth or death is the most common method. Mainly because you can't just state, I wish to resurrect insert name here, because there might be many people who have that name. I wish to bring back the person who died at this exact time on this date in this area. Please. Also, True Resurrection doesn't have any adverse effects when you get brought back. No temporary negative levels and no permanent negative levels and no decrease to your constitution if you're level 1. And yes, I understand that a lot of us, it's like, oh, my character died. I don't want to go through the resurrection method because that costs a lot of money. I'm like, yeah, but then your character's story gets to continue. Resurrection is also not meant to be... Resurrection is meant to be a story tool for the GM to allow you to be like, okay, you guys found a diamond worth 25,000 gold pieces. Go find a cleric of high enough... Go find a 17th level cleric who's willing to do this for you and waste 10 minutes of their life to bring back a dead body. You know? It's not like...
all right,
it's the same thing as like remove curse or anything like that. Curses are something that I really want to have be a part of a game, but the issue is that once everybody gets access to remove curse, it then becomes just a minor inconvenience. But I also want a cursed object to have a downside, but also have a huge benefit, because it's like it's tempting to use.
All right, my very, very intelligent friend.
Already.
I found something that you might not be familiar with.
Okay. Shocker, but we'll see.
Do you know what a goggling watcher is?
The Gaggling Watcher. I haven't actually looked this one up. Is this actually a monster in Pathfinder?
It is. It is Pathfinder's version of the Beholder. The only way you can find it, you won't find it by Googling it.
Mm-hmm.
Search up a gibbering mouther and scroll all the way down.
The gibbering mouther. Gibbering.
Gibb.
Okay, that helps. Gibbering mouther. Get your ass over here. Okay, why is it that I'm in the right area, but I get giant? Giant. Where the fuck is this monster? Gibbering mouther. There we go. It's level 5. It's a CR5 aberration from the Pathfinder RPG Bestiary. Oh. It's because it's their beholder, but it's not a beholder at the same time.
Yes. But if you wanted a beholder in Pathfinder that is not copyrighted, this is
the gibbering mouther. Pathfinder. The gibbering mouther also exists in 5th edition.
Yes.
But it doesn't look. But it's different
across a lot.
But it's different in First Edition and Pathfinder. Do note that a lot of the creatures in Pathfinder First Edition are being written out of the story. Like many of the demons are actually being written out, and new demons are being pulled in their place. Because they're trying to disassociate themselves from D&D. But the gibbering mouther is effectively the poor man's beholder. Yep. Just give it some eye stalks and give it some abilities that with those eye stalks, and you're good.
Yep.
Although I think a beholder is technically a CR10 creature from 3.5.
Well, that's what the Goggling Watcher is. It's a CR5. This horrid mass of eyes, mouths, and formless flesh stares in all directions, yet its maws are utterly silent. Unlike its gibbering mouther kin, exceedingly xenophobic, Goggling Watchers seek to eliminate any creature that is not a Goggling Watcher. Mm-hmm. Unlike gibbering mouthers, they will form underground communities and wage war on any and all nearby settlements. Goggling Watchers worship an insane otherworldly being from the darkness between the stars. Eye Raise. It has Raise plus 6 to hit for touch, and this replaces the gibbering mouther's melee attacks. So it would be able to attack 6 times with these Raise.
Yeah, do note that is a third-party creation, technically, because it's not on Archives of Nethys.
Son of a gun, you're freaking right.
Yep.
It's from Right Publishing.
Yep. Do note. All they did was they literally just pulled the beholder from 3.5 and just found the creature that was close enough to it and just did that. That's all they did.
Yeah, because I found this at the bottom of Gibbering Mouther when I was building a campaign previously.
Yeah.
And I was just like, holy crap, I found a Pathfinder Beholder. And I was so happy, and
do note, Pathfinder has many of their own unique beasts, especially now. Like their giants are different. I mean, the Kleeploth is like a unique demon variant that is different from the usual demon or anything, because they're chaotic evil outsiders. They are from the abyss. Like they are co-inhabitants of the abyss with the demons. But yeah, like Pathfinder has its own like unique monsters now. There's a dust Wendigo. Apparently. Yeah, you never want to have come into the encounter of a Wendigo. But yeah, there's a lot of like unique monsters now from Pathfinder that are way. Technically, I would say they're about on par with some of the named creatures in Dungeons and Dragons. I just noticed something that's very, very funny. One of the gods has a stat block because they've been pulled from 3.5, and 3.5 gate god.
Use the ever-loving out of need. What now?
Yeah. You want to know what's funny? You want to know what's funny? Who it is?
Who? I need to know.
It's Akikek, the Mantis god, also known as the god of assassins. You want to know what he has for his ability to regenerate?
What's that?
40. And he's got 765 hit points, and he cannot be permanently killed. Because there's no way to turn off his regeneration. So he actually cannot die. His SR is also 42. So good luck getting over that SR. Unless you've got greater spell pin and you're level 20 and you're rolling a natural 20. Or you're an elf. With a decent chance.
All of his attacks crit on a 15 to 20.
Yep. Except for his range.
And if he hits you with a critical hit, you have to make a DC 43 Fortitude save or be stunned.
Yep. And that's not including the poison that also inflicts you, that if you don't succeed a DC 45 Fortitude save, immediately get 1d4 negative levels. And even immunity to poison does not help you. Oh, initial and secondary, so meaning you actually take 2d4 points of negative levels. Oh, actually, you still take the 1d4 negative levels, even if you're immune to poisons. Although you do get a plus 10 circumstance bonus against the toxin. Yeah, only damage dealt by a creature of a demigod or greater status deals lethal damage to the Mantis God.
Alright.
Which means Mythic 10 is the only... Yes.
We have a new goal for Iron's campaign.
Somehow kill the Mantis God?
We need to bind him.
Good luck.
We need to use calling magic to summon him because he has a stat block so that we can therefore do it, and we need to bind this bitch.
Good luck.
I will find a way.
Well, here's the funny thing. As soon as he appears, he just makes everything around him, including himself, invisible for 360 feet.
He has an aura of invisibility. Oh my
It's unweaving
God.
aura. It technically also dispels. It actually dispels any magical effect that you are under at the moment. And if instead
if
you
it has
don't, you take 2 points of
charisma
charisma drain, which means
Wow.
as soon as you hit 0, you fall unconscious. And what is the most commonly dumped stat in Pathfinder / 3.5 at the time?
That's just mean.
Which means you just need to fail this maybe
so
6
freaking-
or 7 times in order to fall unconscious.
That's so fucked.
It's also a will save. It's actually better to have some magical ongoing effects on you so that they get dispelled first. It does not state that it dispels magic items, so... Also, Kikek may not even be his true name.
He's a god. We don't know his true name.
Yep. It does have improved evasion and freedom of movement, so good luck. That's why I said good luck binding him. Because you can't.
Right.
He also has Death Watch. He can also just create gate once per minute as a move action. So, like, he could just show up whenever he fucking wants. And just leave whenever the fuck he wants. So, yeah. No. It also is using the 3-point stat block because it has hide, listen, move silently, spot, and tumble. He also only speaks Infernal, apparently. He also takes up a 60-foot space and has a reach of 60 feet. Yes, he is colossal, but he actually has a space of 60 feet. Because he's a god. He doesn't get to play by the normal rules. Do note, giants only get as big as huge. For those people wondering. Giants only get up to huge.
Giant?
Yeah, storm giants only go up to huge. Humanoids actually don't get that big, comparatively. That's also not including the bronze colossus, which actually is not even colossal sized, I believe. I think it's gargantuan. Is it the bronze colossus, or is it just called the colossus?
There are different types of colossi.
I know, but I'm talking about like the mythical one that the one from like Greek mythology. Usually, I think it's the bronze colossus, but it might just be called the colossus.
Isn't it the Colossus of Rhodes?
Yeah, but I don't think it's called that in Pathfinder. It might just be called a colossus. I know it's a construct, I believe. Can't find it, but it's probably because of other things.
Yeah, Colossus is a subtype of constructs.
Yeah.
What you're probably thinking of is the Iron Colossus. That's the most...
That's the one I'm probably thinking of.
Which is a CR 21 Mythic Rank 8 Colossal Construct.
Sounds about right.
There's also the Flesh Colossus, which just sounds horrifying just based on premise.
Yeah.
Gold Colossus could probably bankrupt a number of nations.
Yep.
Sphinx Colossus, which I don't quite understand what that would be. I'm gonna pull that one up just because I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
The Stone Colossus and then the Wood Colossus, which those two sound the most practical.
Yeah.
Not saying that a Colossus, let's see, a Stone Colossus is still a colossal sized structure, which is CR 9 Mythic Rank 7. Not saying that this is practical by any sense of the imagination, but
Yeah. Nothing's
a
ever
Stone
practical.
Colossus can take the form of a small heap as a full round action it can transform into a building.
Yeah. Do note the strongest dragon, an ancient red dragon, which is considered the strongest of dragons, by the way, at least in Pathfinder 1st Edition, which doesn't have a normal stat block, and you have to actually build it yourself. It's build your own stat block. I have to go to D20 PFSRD for this, because they actually don't have it for on the Archives of Nethys. Dragon. Not that dragon. I need the other dragon. Guardian Dragon.
Bro. The Wood Colossus can transform into a manor house as a full round action. Each time it does, it can choose a different internal architecture to suit its master's needs. Now I just want to build a adventure where the final BBEG is like a vampire living in this ancient manor, and when you finally go to fight him, you have to fight him and his house.
Yeah. So, here's the thing. The Great Worm Red Dragon, which is considered the strongest chromatic dragon, because red dragons are considered the strongest of the chromatic dragons, is a CR 22 creature. Remember, the Tarask is a CR 25 creature. And the Tarask will still wipe the floor of the dragon because the dragon has only fire-based powers, and its claws aren't considered mythical or epic. So it will die to the Tarask at some point. It is also colossal.
So here's something I've
seen. It
seen
actually
on
takes up
social
a
media
30-foot
lot.
space.
If you look at an image of a Tarask, right, you'll see that there are all kinds of spines and spikes and armor and all that kind of shit on its back, right?
Yeah.
Now, evolutionarily, creatures only develop spines and spikes and things of that nature
as a defense mechanism.
Because they are prey animals, and they need a defense mechanism against predators. So a lot of people will ask, what the fuck is preying on a Tarask?
Other Tarask.
And, well, here's the answer that I have come up with, and I have yet to find someone who can argue against it.
Cook himself.
When there is a baby Tarask, because in other settings other than Galarian, you can have infantile versions of these creatures. Dragons are smart enough to know what a Tarask is and what it will grow into.
Yeah.
So, I don't know about you, but if I was an elderly or even an adult dragon, and I heard that there was a baby Tarask seen in my territory, I am immediately beelining to murk that thing before it has the opportunity to grow into
something that will something that will actually destroy me.
Yeah, I am not going to let it live long enough to become a threat. So, what I kind of would like to see, just because I think it would be a really cool character, a dragon who has Tarask scale armor.
Good work.
Because he has hunted down and killed infantile Tarasks to keep them from growing up to become a threat to it.
Oh, I realized why I couldn't find Tarask for the longest time.
You were misspelling it, weren't you?
No, it's not just that. The Tarask is the Tarask Herald. It is the Herald of Robogug.
Yep.
Because it is the most powerful of Robogug's spawn, so it is the Herald of Robogug.
Okay, so.
It's also the strongest of the fucking Heralds.
Yep.
By 10 CR, by the way. All the other ones are 15 CR.
Alright. So I am looking at... So Paizo is a fucking amazing company.
Yes.
And they have provided a website on... Well, it's a sub-page of the Pathfinder Wiki, where you can go and you can find an interactable map of the planet Galarian.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you remember back, I was talking about the Pit of Gormuz, from whence all the spawns of Rovagug come.
Yes.
Right? So the only... Do we know of any canonical locations of any of the other spawns? Or is Ulanek, or whatever whatever it was, the only one that we know about?
So the other ones do have locations where they are typically found. The worm is found in the Darklands.
That makes sense.
The Tarask is any environment, because he is the spawn of Rovagug. He can spawn anywhere. And the other spawn of Rovagug, there are 5 spawns of Rovagug.
Okay, so I was able to just look it up. So, canonically, right now, Chemoset is feared throughout the Darklands. He's been defeated multiple times, but he always returns.
Mm-hmm. Festering Ulanot is Sothis, in Sothis.
Yes, he's in Sothis. The Tarask is sealed in a hidden cavern beneath Avestan.
Oh, Avestan?
That's interesting.
Why
that
Avestan?
Is interesting. That's just what it says.
Oh, Avestan is the entire continent, so that's.
Oh, okay. That's
a. We have no fucking clue where he is. He's somewhere.
That is, your DM has the authority to have him show up.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
I just looked at because I'm like, oh, you said I'm like Avestan. I'm like, oh, Avestan is like the major continent. That's why. It's the continent that literally 90% of campaigns play on, or play in. Unless you're playing like the Shackles, and then you're in
the Fire Bleeder is also dead. Apparently, he was slain by the Legion of Wands. I don't know what that is. It doesn't have a Wikipedia page, and its grave lies in Katapesh. Legend suggests 1,000 wishes, one for each of its wounds, could revive it. Let's not let that happen.
Zotani, the Fire Bleeder?
Yeah, Zotani the Fire Bleeder, slayed by the Legion of Wands, its grave lies in Katapesh. Legend suggests 1,000 wishes for each of its wounds could revive it. The source for this
it'll come back. It comes back
the
because
Howl of the Carrion.
Oh
King
no, it's got regeneration
and the
for it.
Final Wish.
It'll be back at some point.
Okay, so let's see. Where is Katapesh on the map?
Good question. I actually do not know where Katapesh is.
Katapesh, where are you, Katapesh?
Mira.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, there's
Katapesh. Katapesh is between Assyrian and Nex. It's both a country and a city. Okay, so we have one that showed up in Katapesh. The other one showed up in Sothis.
Katapesh.
How fucking far is it from the toggle measure to Sothis?
So, Sothis and Katapesh are actually not that far away from each other.
That's what I was just thinking.
Because Katapesh is south of Osirian, and Sothis is in Osirian, and which Katapesh is north of Nex.
These spawns of Rovagug, at least the 2 that we know where they died, traveled 2,785 miles from the pit to where they died, traveling across a wide breadth of desert in Kalesh, the Miraz? I'm going to call it Miraz Desert in Kalesh, through the entire nation of Kadira, bisecting Kadira, crossing the ocean, and then landing in Osiria and or Katapesh, respectively, to get murked.
Do note that a lot of these monsters, I think, have a dig speed, or a burrow speed.
That would make sense.
So, Festering Ulanot has a fly speed. And the
lesser spawns.
and the
of him
fire
on this
bleeder.
unsolid page.
Yeah, and the fire bleeder has a burrow speed, so they both likely got there a lot faster than we thought.
Yeah.
Also, the fire bleeder is literally a centipede made of literal magma.
Look.
Like a living volcanic eruption, the sheer massiveness of this titan defies all reason. Monstrously shaped in part like a gigantic, terrible centipede, and in part like some primeval wingless dragon, this living holocaust is completely armored over in plates of angry, obsidian, sharp magma. Two massive claws like insectile scythes shear before the burning terror as it skitters forth in rapid bursts of motion, leaving only flames and barren earth smoldering in its wake. So says the flavor text of Zoltani, spawn of Rovagug, better known as the Fire Bleeder. It's also a colossal magical beast that has the fire subtype, which means it's actually weak to fire, or cold. It's vulnerable to cold. Actually, Zatani is actually considered a lesser spawn because it's not immune to 2 elements. It's only immune to fire.
Did you know you could ascend to becoming a spawn of Rovagug?
Yeah, technically.
Huh. That's interesting. Yeah. Urtalatalar? That is not how you pronounce that, but I am not gonna freaking butcher it again. Is a Scalia and one of the lesser-known spawns of Rovagug. Her alternative form is a strangely beautiful Cyclops, perhaps because of a kinship she feels with the ancient empire of Golgane that used to rule her current home. This alternate form has tricked many explorers of Golgane, easing them into complacency before, can't pronounce it, consumes them. She is a... What the hell is a Scalia? Scalias are rare, nightmarish, half-mad aberrations that prey on ships and their crew. Due to their rarity, many consider nothing more
it's
than
also assumed that
sailors.
it's also assumed that the Kraken is also a either is or potentially could be a spawn of Rovagug. Although there's technically there's actually 2 Krakens. There's
I thought
there's
a Kraken was just
there's 2 there's the Kraken, and then there's Quashok Kraken.
I didn't know that the Kraken was a unique creature in Galarian.
The Quashok is a unique creature. Technically, it's not even unique. It's not even under the unique creatures list. It's under the normal bestiary list. It's a mythical monsters revisit. It's a mythical monster. It actually has arms.
Can you spell that? Because Google is failing me.
Quwoshokk. Quebec Whiskey Oscar Sierra Hotel Oscar Kilo Kilo. It's a male unique Elder Kraken. It is a unique creature. I didn't see it under the unique list. Yeah, it's weird. It's not actually under the unique list. But it's not a mythic creature. It's just a CR20 creature. But it's a gargantuan magical beast aquatic, and it's considered a neutral evil because it has an intelligence of 21.
Here's another one. Zangor is another named unique Elder Kraken, CR20.
Yeah. Do note that Xandor might be third party. Because Quoshok is the only one that's actually in the thing. Oh, we also have everybody's favorite monstrous humanoid, Krampus.
Meh.
You know, Santa Claus. Except the evil version of Santa Claus, who takes bad children.
Okay,
and
so
eats
yeah, Krakens are definitely not unique creatures.
No, there are
in
unique.
Rova, yeah.
There are unique Krakens, but there are not.
Yes.
None of them are spawns of Rovagun. Yet.
In Rova 4700 AR, the lidless bodies of 13 Krakens washed up on the Isle of Kortos. There have been reports that mighty Kraken sometimes hunt near the whirlpool of the Devil's Drain between Dragon's Rib and the Ironbound Islands and the Linnerworm Kingdom of Southmore.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. That would be fucking terrifying. So the Linnerworm Kingdoms use Viking-style longships to travel.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine being on a Viking-style longship and getting attacked by a Kraken.
Yeah.
Being on a normal ship, that's terrifying. Being on a Viking-style longship where the only shelter you have is a tent, essentially?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Fuck that.
That's one of the most terrifying things that you've actually ever said. Mm.
No, Zangor is canon to Paizo.
Oh, okay.
The Tinzian nation of Wanshu came under the control
He
of the
may have
Kraken Zangor, and when he quelled a devastating typhoon that hit its shores shortly after the fall of Lunghwa, naming rulership of Wanshu and its people as his price for doing so.
It's more than likely it's not in second edition, or it's not in first edition. It's probably second edition lore.
Let's see. Zangor came to rule Wanshu in the wake of the fall of Imperial Lunghwa. After the this is all in Tanzia, so everything is like Eastern and like Chinese, Japanese. I am
Korean,
not capable of pronouncing with any kind of correctness, so please, I don't mean to offend anybody, I'm sorry. After the fall of the Empire, Wanshu's people rose in bloody rebellion against their cruel masters. This war was long and vicious, but the people eventually overthrew their former rulers. Almost immediately after the rebellion was over, the land was ravaged by constant storms of unprecedented strength. In their desperation, the oracles of Wanshu called out for aid. Zangor answered. Zangor swept into Wanshu's port capital of Numjan. Numajan? I'm gonna say Numajan. Accompanied by a fresh wave of storms and tsunamis that wiped out nearly 80% of the city.
So,
ouch.
So Wan Shao, which is the Elder Kraken, is a 2024 construction, which means it is Pathfinder 2e lore. Technically, there is probably a reference of him in 2011, but it's in the Dragon Empire's Gazetteer, or Gazette, so grain of salt for Pathfinder 1st Edition.
Oh. There's a third named Elder Kraken.
Yeah. Vanush.
Vanush.
Guards the Great Temple of Lasala, a Thessalonian ruin that sank in the Varisian Gulf during Earthfall. And then Quashok is the scarlet-colored Elder Kraken, which is what the Elder Kraken's based off of, who has guarded the Garatonic Trench, which is probably equivalent to the Mariana Trench, the site of an Algolthu palace miles beneath the surface of the Arcadian Ocean, northwest of Cheliax, for more than 3,000 years.
That's an old fish.
Yeah.
Oh, large.
Oh.
What?
I just realized what the Algolthus are. They're just aboliths renamed. They're renamed aboliths.
Yeah. That sounds familiar.
Actually, the aboleth is an all aboleths are all Golthuses, but not all Golthuses are aboleths. There's like 6 of them, and the aboleth is one of them. The core type of aboleth who consider themselves masters not only of all forms of life, all of the forms of life.
Pathfinder 1E aboleth. Intelligence score.
They're only a CR7 creature?
That shocks me.
They're a CR7 creature?
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, the aboleth in Galarian lore are the reason for the fall of the Starstone. Canonically, they pulled down a meteor from outer space to destroy the Aslanti nation because the humans that formed the Aslanti nation were rebellious slaves who abandoned the aboleth nation kingdom.
Do note, aboleths are also
they summoned a meteor to destroy them.
Aberrations, so many aberrations are considered to be from the far beyond, which is from the stars. They probably crash landed on Galarian like many of the other aberrations that exist in the Darklands, or they're from the Darklands. We don't fucking know.
Okay. So my lore for my setting of Amaran would actually work with the Paizo aboleth stat blocks. So one of the things that I did in my setting, Krakens are the top of the food chain in the oceans.
Yep.
That's undeniable. But they are constantly at war with other subaquatic humanoid species. There's just an ongoing war at all times.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that happens is every 10 years, a kaiju transfers from the plane of water to the material plane, and it proceeds to hunt krakens and eats tons of them. And this is what keeps their population under control, and this is why they don't take over all of the oceans and beyond.
So,
aboleths would 100%, it would make sense for them to be servants to krakens, because not only are they weaker, CR, and everything, they have an intelligence of 15 compared to a kraken's intelligence of 21.
I think aboleths have access to dominate monster. Technically.
They do.
Aboleths also secrete a weird liquid from their body that allows them to control any creature who ingests it.
A kraken can dominate any monster animal only as well.
Aboleths are aberrations.
Yeah.
They only need to fail to save once. Why can I not find the aboleth? Is it because they're no longer called aboleths?
Oh, there are CR18 versions of the Olgathu, which is the family that the aboleth are from, called an Omnipath. What the hell is this? This monstrous eel-like creature has jaws within jaws.
So, xenomorph?
Transparent glass-like teeth. Yeah!
So xenomorph?
Yeah! 300 hit points with fast healing 10. They are immune to electricity and mind-affecting effects. They can cast up to 7th level psychic spells.
Yeah, I always forget that psychic's actually a thing. Because psychic magic is a thing in Galarian. There's no psionics. Yeah. It's psychic magic. And the reason why there's no aboleths have access to 3 times per day dominate monster DC 22. What's the Kraken's?
They have a will save of plus 11.
So they have a 55% chance. They are immune to mind affecting effects.
They are immune to mind affecting effects, so they couldn't be dominated.
They cannot be dominated. Unless you...
I feel like a Kraken and aboleths working together makes sense.
They also
Why
have a
wouldn't
mucus cloud within 5 feet. The mucus cloud...
And the Kraken has an ink cloud. I feel like a Kraken is just a really fucking big aboleth.
It probably is. Oh, okay. So what the aboleth wants to do is they want to dominate a person, cause them to come into the water, make them ingest their mucus cloud, because then they lose the ability to breathe air.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's actually a spell, Aboleth's Lung, I think it is.
Yeah, which...
that transitions you from being able to breathe air to you can only breathe water.
It's also a curse.
Yeah, because it was a thing for a while there that people were using it hostilely to, I cast this spell on you, and now you are suffocating because we are nowhere near water.
Yeah. Gilman were the only one who could cast it. It is a primarily Gilman only spell on Galarian. Gilmans are the only ones that know, because Gilman are the servants of aboleths. If you did not know, that is part of their lore. So yeah. Although technically it is technically PFS legal, but Gilman are the only one that can use the spell because it's a racial only spell. Oh, the reason why Gilman are probably not allowed to be played is because Gilman require that stupid, do note, many of the races that aren't playable in PFS are because they're very weird races and they just can't function in a normal campaign setting. Because they are, like, either have a speed of, like, 5 feet or can only... and have a really ridiculous swim speed. Oh, they also have, like... This is actually one of the few races that actually has a +2 to all stats. Merfolk actually has a +2 to Dex, Con, and Charisma. Did not know that.
I didn't know they named the frickin' 10 Magic Warriors of Old Mage Tembe.
They had to. They kind of had to, because I think they became, like, prevalent in the lore at some point.
They did, but for the longest time, they were just known as the 10 Magic Warriors, and there was no individual identity to them. They were just a member of the 10.
Mm-hmm.
The only one that I've actually heard of before is Black Heron, and I didn't know that he was one of the 10. And the reason I know about Black Heron is because he was name dropped in the Mummy's Mask adventure path.
Yeah, you want to know what's funny? Their psychics have an inherent and unfettered power, so it ends up making it to where they're often confused with sorcerers. Psychics specifically. Kineticists also, I think, have this problem.
That makes sense.
Because kineticists are probably also mistaken for sorcerers. The powers often confuse others into believing they are monks or sorcerers. That makes so much sense, I'm not gonna lie. Makes so much sense that they'd be confused for monks or sorcerers. Especially with some of them, like, because some people, some of them, like, punch, so it makes them think that they're monks. They might know martial arts, which is funny. Oh, that's hilarious. I have wanted to actually play a psychic. The only issue I have with psychics is all of the psychic spells are mind-affecting effects, so if you don't get the right feats, you pretty much become useless against very specific enemies.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem when you have exclusively mental effects.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of creatures that are just straight up immune to mind affecting.
Yeah.
Which can make things a royal pain in the ass.
Yeah. And it's the main issue that I have with psychics is like I would love to play a psychic, but psychics really just don't function well in normal games, especially in normal games where you're going up against random enemies. And if you go up against a skeleton, you're fucked because you can't do shit. You literally can't do anything as a psychic, which sucks in Pathfinder First Edition. Psychics are powerful, but they're also not great. I guess it's also the same issue with psionics. Psionics, I think many of them couldn't affect. The only other issue that I have with it is that they are effectively sorcerers. Psychics are effectively just sorcerers, but they're intelligent sorcerers. They use intelligence instead of charisma for their spellcasting stat, which I find hilarious. But like 90% of their spells are literally... They have no damage-dealing cantrip either, which sucks. At least No, they do. It's fucking telekinetic projectile, which is the worst one because it's a ranged attack and not a ranged touch attack. On a class that gets... that has half BAB. And of course, cantrips are considered knacks, not cantrips.
Bro.
Hmm.
There's literally a Loch Ness monster in Galarian.
Yeah.
Its name is Omak.
Olmec.
Omak is a legendary monster said to live within the depths of the Lake of Vanished Armies in the Mwangi Expanse. It's sighted only rarely, but is said to be capable of swallowing boats whole. The locals believe the lake's population of Elastomosauri are its offspring, and Elastomosauri are Loch Ness monsters.
That's funny.
That's hysterical.
That's funny.
That's so cool. I like it. That's good. That's good shit.
Oh, I just realized the lore about Gilman. Gilman used to be humans, or Aslantes,
Yeah.
until the
Yeah.
Oligothals
that's
flesh warped
the
them to survive their aquatic domains.
Well, actually, isn't it the other way around? Weren't Aslanti former Gilman who stopped
Nope.
being aquatic?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Gilman were Aslanti that during Earthfall, because Earthfall sank Aslanti. Aslan. It sank it into the ocean.
Yeah. And
So
that was the whole purpose. That's why they called the Starstone, was to destroy the nation of Aslan.
yeah. Do note, of course, this is all like theoretical because you can only do so much.
Yeah, you can't exactly go up to an aboleth and start questioning it. That's not going to end well for you.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Alrighty, brother. Brother,
Yeah.
it is 9:30 my time.
Yeah.
I need
I'm
to go
about
to bed.
to stop streaming here pretty soon anyway. We've been speaking for almost 4 hours, so this is a good time to cut stream. Let's see who's live on Twitch.
Ugh.
Mainly I like doing some of these streams where I just speak about stuff that I like because this is stuff that I enjoy.
Yeah, this was a fun conversation.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Let's see who's live.
But yeah, I found that because I was looking at the Mwangi Expanse and I was following the river that our characters currently are on in Iron's campaign, and then I was just like, wait, why is this named? So I looked it up. I was just like, oh,
that's why. Found it. Found why. We found
I
it.
regret that.
I regret
Dress up.
I regret this decision. I regret this decision.
Oh shit. Let's
Okay.
not point that out to Iron.
He probably already knows.
He probably does. He's done more research in the Milwaukee Expanse than I ever have.
Mhm.
Shit, I didn't even know Missouli existed until he brought it up, and I'm just like, what the hell is that?
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and raid Aria Symphony, who is playing, who is doing a charity stream at the moment and playing, what is just called Restorats, which I'm assuming is based off of Ratatouille. So, we thought it'd be fun.
All right, it was fun. Have a good evening, everybody, and sub to Brave. He's good.
Sub, follow, do whatever you wish. Alrighty, see you guys later.
Have a good night, guys.